opening kickoff to the final play.
Touchdown!
Your home of the pass.
Yes.
98.5. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots fell to 2-7 yesterday, care of a tough loss in Tennessee, 20-17 in overtime to the last-place Titans. Drake May had an up-and-down day for the Patriots. He threw for 206 yards and a pair of interceptions, but he also added a 5-yard touchdown pass to Ramondre Stevenson off a broken play with no time left to force overtime.
Just trying to keep the play alive, make play. Ramondre, good for running back out there to kind of play like a receiver and make a good play. End up coming up short, so that play really doesn't matter at this point.
Old friend Nick Folk kicked the 25-yard field goal on the first possession of overtime, and then May was intercepted on a long pass to end the afternoon. The Patriots visit Chicago this coming Sunday. The Bears fell to 4-4, care of an ugly road loss to Arizona yesterday, 29-9. The Bruins won again last night, 2-0 over Seattle at TD Garden. Justin Brazeau and Charlie Coyle both scored in the first period, and Jeremy Swayman made it stand up with 23 saves in net. The Bruins are now unscored upon in their last 127 minutes and 47 seconds of gameplay. They visit Toronto tomorrow night. David Pastrnak, by the way, did not play in the third period last night due to what Jim Montgomery called a coaching decision. The Celtics had last night off, and after sweeping a back-to-back in Charlotte over the weekend, they visit Atlanta tonight. Brandy and Max have the pregame at 7, and the tip-off at close to 7:45 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jaylen Brown is out again with a hip flexor strain, and Red Sox right fielder Wilyer Abreu was given an American League Gold Glove last night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit EastCoastMetalRoofing.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Some people play the game.
Hey, Jaylen Brown.
Blocked by Horford.
Some talk about
Let's
it.
welcome to the Sports Hub Celtics show, by the way. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper.
The Sports Hub Celtics Show with Murray and Gasper. Saturdays at noon on the Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. 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 Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Super him up with a football.
98.5. The Hub.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. What? We are Toucher and Hardy. We're in the Town Fair Tire Studios. You can call us 617-779-0985. You can know that we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, making every moment more with FanDuel. You can also YouTube us. Just go to YouTube and search 98.5 The Sports Hub, and that's
It's awesome.
Thank you. And that's all you need to do. We're talking about it today. It's very cold outside. It's so cold. I did not leave my dog outside when I left. So when I'm not making the dog suffer being outside for while I'm on the show, we're in a weather crisis.
Right. And I said it's very much like the Waffle House metric, where you can judge natural disasters and weather severity based on whether or not Waffle House is reduced hours or closed altogether. That's how the people in certain parts of this country really, because you can't trust them, that weather woman, that weather lady. She don't know. But the Waffle House is closing at 9 o'clock tonight, so you know it's going to be bad. Or the Waffle House is just closed.
Sure.
Now, John, you've had Waffle House for the first time when we were in the Super Bowl in Atlanta, right?
Yes, that was the very first time I had been in a Waffle House.
And we were all sober, and you saw when one is sober, Waffle House is not so great.
No, it's not.
How dare you? I just had Waffle House on Saturday.
Oh, that's right. You were out of town, right?
I was out of town, and my kids had never been to Waffle House. My daughter desperately wanted to go to Waffle House.
Yeah.
My son, who spends way too much time on social media, thought he was going to die if he ate Waffle House. I said, and he said it a few times, and finally I said, if you make one more Waffle House joke, then you can just sit home by yourself and eat whatever Grammy has in her cupboard, because that's where we're going for breakfast.
Okay, well, this is now we're Waffle House is by comparison. It's not a standalone. You're comparing it to something else. You know what I mean? It's not a great place to eat. It's this other thing.
I thought it was delicious. I haven't had it since I don't know, maybe when we were in Houston for the Super Bowl.
You just can notice a lot more when you're sober. I want to switch back to something you just said.
Yeah.
You can eat whatever grandma has in her like cupboards and refrigerator. How many times has your mother moved?
As an adult, probably.
No,
3
like
times.
since you've been alive.
3-4 times.
Okay. Is everything in her cupboards from this house? Like, was it all purchased while she was in this house?
There's probably a handful of items that have made it from. I would go back as say 2 residences ago, so coming up on 15 years.
Okay, my parents moved to Detroit in 1976, and they moved to Tennessee, let's say 2007, 2008. There's stuff in their cupboards. I think I've told you this, John, when I've come back. There's stuff in their cupboards from Michigan.
Yes.
And then not only from Michigan, but from when I was a little kid.
Yeah. You
like
have told me that.
I've like seen stuff this is obviously on the refrigerator, but this is some canned stuff like spices and stuff. I've gone through, and first of all, like the box looks, you can tell, like the box looks like it's from another era. And so I go like, what the hell is this? And then it kind of hits something in the back of my head where I go, oh, and then I pull it out, and it expired decades ago, like in the 80s, it expired.
You want some cereal? I have some puffed rice. Oh, no, I bought this Quisp for you.
Yeah, I think that there was like some kind of, because again, my parents, I don't know what they did. I told you they had a cigar box full of like felt tip pens that didn't have caps on them that were in their attic. Like they just had someone come through their house and they said, box everything. Like legitimately box everything. And then when they got to Tennessee, they had someone and they said, just take everything in the boxes and put them in. They have these long paper bins that have their taxes, which you should keep your tax returns for like a certain amount of time. They have their taxes since the early 70s.
Yeah.
All in this closet in the basement, like just all lined up. And they've never gone through them again. Every Betamax tape that we ever had, the Jane Fonda workout unopened CD, when the CDs were in the long cardboard boxes. Like, remember when the CD wasn't in the jewel?
Oh, yeah.
It was like in a long box, unopened. I mean,
Whoa.
Most unusual matches, WWF. My books from my tapes, my cassette tapes from when I was like a little kid. Like they just packed everything.
Yeah, I see. I don't think my mom has anything like really out of left field like that. She is a very neat, clean, organized person. So she's got a lot of stuff in her house, but she knows all the stuff that she has. And there's also my mom, like your parents, Fred, she's born in the 40s. So there was still like a big holdover element from the Depression from her parents. Like, you didn't throw things away. You didn't waste anything. My dad especially. My God, my dad was born in the 30s. He never threw anything away because that was just wasteful. You might need that. So, yeah, there's some older things. It's just still in the consumables portion of the house.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something from the Depression. My mom grew up very, very, very poor, but I don't think it's because of that. I think it was just something mental in them where they were like, we better not have them not take anything, lest we lose something. But the counter to that was they brought literally everything. Broken stuff, old Segas, like the old Sega machine. And then my mom was like, will you go through the attic and see if there's anything to throw away, which was kind of fun because I saw a bunch of stuff from high school, like at my elementary school phone book, like an old answering machine with the tapes. So I like listened to the tapes.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's fun.
Yeah, there wasn't like that much stuff on it, but it was kind of cool. But then after that, and then there was like some baseball cards, and then after that, I was like, you can get rid of everything. It's just like, because like, what am I going to do with the Sega and all the games?
But after you find a few things like that, my mind just gets full. My brain gets saturated, and because I'll do this when I'm purging stuff. My mom even said to me when we were there, she goes, "Both you and your sister are so good at getting rid of things. I wish I could." Because for me, I find a few things that I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, and after a while, I don't have any room left in my head to think about these things, and then I just start throwing stuff away.
Well, that's me too. I
don't even look at it.
This is not in the attic. This is in the place with all the taxes and everything, my dad's office. And they have my old elementary school report cards and stuff, which the first one I saw was neat. Yeah, and then like I'm like you, like after that, like I did not care at all. Like I don't really care that much about myself.
You only need to save a precious few things. There was one when my dad died. I had heard about this report card for years. I had never seen it, and it was his sister, my Aunt Nancy, who had a copy of it, and she brought it. We blew it up as one of the like collages at his memorial service, and on that report card it said, "My dad, Sidney Davis Poole." The teacher had written, "Sidney is a perfect example of a complete waste of the taxpayers' money."
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
He took American history 5 times. Every year in high school, and then a summer school session after he was supposed to have graduated, but they wouldn't let him graduate until he finally passed American history. So stuff that you find one gem like that, you don't need to keep everything, just that one thing.
And then I would, you know what I would do is I would frame that.
Yeah.
No, I really would. No, I'm not being sarcastic.
I think my sister has it. I don't think she's framed it, though.
Yeah, but I would frame it and I would hang it, and then that to me, that'd be like, that's funny, because if it's funny enough to keep,
yes,
it's better to be framed. So that's what my strategy with like the kids stuff from when they were little kids is that I've gotten like, let's say 8 things framed. And that's what I've kept. Everything else, I don't go through it. I don't go through their doodlings and pictures are not really of interest to me. They've made Father's Day cards that I thought were sweet, so I had kept them, and then I got them framed, and I'm like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do this. I don't need a bin. I have one. When I went away to college, my parents bought me this big heavy trunk. Because they're old, and they thought like it's like the military, and you need like a footlocker.
Okay.
And so they gave me this trunk, which I had no use for, but I've kept memories in that trunk, and that's all I need is that trunk. And I never go in it. I never like go through it, but I know it's there. A trunk full of stuff is all I need. There's some kid stuff in there. There's like the day they were born, like videos, but that are on some kind of cassette that I'll never figure out how to transfer into like digital. But one day I could. But I think that's really all I need with the memories. I framed like not even 8 things. Let's say I framed like 5 things, and then I've got that trunk of like my memories, radio, college, high school.
Yeah.
and then that's all I need. Because when I got divorced and moved, I realized like I don't need a lot of the stuff. Like it wasn't hard for me to it wasn't hard for me to like leave stuff behind. That was not difficult.
No, when it comes to saving the kids' stuff, though, it's a lot easier for the second one because we saved everything with Katie. I think Marcy went back and got rid of a lot of it, but like every doodle that she did, every artwork, we had them framed. They were hanging in the living room, and who knows what's actually worthy of keeping. By the second one, it comes around, it's like, oh, this doesn't look like total crap. We'll keep this one and just throw the rest of it away. So for his stuff, we've got only a few things. Katie's stuff is still like in boxes in the attic.
Well, my ex-wife like put a bunch of stuff on Craigslist, like old bat bags, and for like $10, and people will come over apparently and like look them over,
right?
And see if they're worthy of the $10. It's like a hobby.
You
to
have
them.
to debate a $10 purchase like that.
And it was funny because she wasn't home one time, so it was Milo, it was my son that was there, and he was like, this guy just is looking at it, and he's like, I'll give you $5 for it. And Milo's like, why? And he's like, blah 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 blah. And he goes, it's $10. And then the guy just like tried haggling, and Milo didn't haggle with him, so he just left. And then also Milo looked into the bat bags when his mom had brought them upstairs and found that she had neglected to take anything out of them. So there was like a ton of stuff he needed in these bat bags.
Yeah.
So she's trying to sell those Yadro clowns, by the way, that I have on my Instagram at Fred Toucher.
What are we asking for prices here, Fred?
That's a good question.
You can maybe look it up. It'd probably be tough to find, but because they're clown Yadros, which I believe is every Yadro is a
Are we
clown.
going Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace? What's the platform?
Did she put them on eBay? I think she put them on eBay. No bites.
I just want one in the studio. I just want one Yadro clown to sit in your little shrine in front of your board in the studio. It would give me so much joy.
She'd give me one. I mean, she definitely would. I mean, not for keeps. Do you think someone would steal it? Because then I'd be in hot water. And I'm not kidding.
Wow. Yeah. You never know. I mean, everyone steals everything at a radio station. So
yeah, it's just that I would love to. She'd give it to me and like to put it. She'd think it was funny to put it in.
I think it'd be
studio.
awesome. Like it would be hilarious.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, you know I'm obsessed with the Yadro clowns.
But if it got stolen, then she'd like want money for it, and I'm not kidding. She would be like, "I want money for that. Like you owe me money for that."
Maybe I'll just look it up and buy one, and then put it on.
She's asking for a couple $100.
Any of these look familiar?
You can go to Fred Toucher. The Yadro clowns are up there.
I just sorted by distance on eBay.
Oh,
any of these looking familiar to you?
Well, I'll just show you. That one right there, that one, yeah.
How much?
But they all look the same.
Well,
how much, Hardy?
150. That's the fabulous large vintage Yadro sad clown head, bowler hat, and flower, 5130 with stand.
Wait, hang on.
That's not going to fit in front of Fred's board.
That's that. No, that's absolutely one of them because I can tell by the screen name.
Oh, all right, there we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Is that it? It's one of these.
Oh,
Hardy, look. Is it one of these?
Yeah, but also look at the name there. That's
okay. Definitely her.
Okay, so there's one for 200. There's one for 150. There's one for $99.
Are those
is this it? Is this one of them?
Oh yeah,
the saxophone player?
That one's $109.99. That might be the one. The sad saxophone player might be the one that we purchased.
Don't give her money.
That's right up.
She's getting enough.
If it was a trombone player, I'd buy it right away.
A sad trombone player?
We're all sad, Fred.
Wait. Don't give her money. She's getting enough.
Yeah.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah. And also, don't encourage her with this stuff.
I'm buying it.
Please don't buy it.
What are you going to do with it?
I'll
you going to put it right over there?
I'll take it from her house and put it. Don't buy it.
Look, the buy it now button's right
I'm not
here.
joking. If that thing shows up in the studio later this week, I'm gonna die.
I have to look at it. So do you.
Yes, I want to, John.
I don't want to look at that.
I want to look at the stupid Yadro clown every day.
I don't want to look at that.
Here, I got I got 108 on me right now.
I'm there, she's selling it. It's her taxable income, not mine. I don't want to touch the money. Yeah, so needless to say, no one's bid on those. All right. Well, there you go. If you can search by location.
Why is he so sad?
Why would you want that? Like sad clown porcelain. They're made of porcelain.
Spanish porcelain.
And that's the best kind.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because All
right.
Because it's
say
like
so.
Zorro.
Department is filed under teens and adults. This is not a kid's toy. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get this for your child or even preteen.
But it ain't just for the elderly, you know. So hey, teens, give it a shot. Just because you can't vote, don't mean you can't yadro. All right. Well, listen. There was a lot doing as it was a football Sunday. It was a hockey Sunday with some controversy with the Bruins. And a lot coming up, so we will have all that for you in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more.
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, did you? Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what happened yesterday?
Your 2-6 New England Patriots were visiting the 1-6 Titans yesterday afternoon.
We had the broadcast team of all broadcast teams in this game. This was fantastic.
I had heard of the color analyst.
Mark Schlereth.
Yeah, Mark
Right.
Schlereth, I know. Who's the play-by-play guy?
Jason Benetti, who is better known as the TV voice of your Detroit Tigers. He's one of those guys that fills in occasionally.
Did you see?
Never heard of it.
I know.
They called like Schlereth something because he used to pee himself in his uniform. Stink. Yeah.
So even Scott Zolak said on the broadcast, he at one point, by the way, they were so bad. And I prefer to listen to Bob and Zoe anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But I did like the whole setup yesterday. I got the Bluetooth speaker out. I went on my phone. I synced it up with the TV.
Yep.
And I had a nice little system going.
Did the same thing.
Yeah. So
same thing.
I missed the point in the broadcast where Zoe said something like, he must have said, you're going to see some bad football from two bad teams today.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, and he went back to that. He said it was going to be some bad football. The Titans won the toss. They elected to receive, which you don't see too much anymore, and they marched right down the field.
Play fake to Pollard, quick throw left. It's caught by Vanette, the tight end, and he's going to take Marco Wilson into the end zone. A dive for a touchdown, Tennessee.
That was the easiest touchdown drive I think we've seen all year. Seriously. Didn't get dunk, quarterback on a scramble, 32-yard run, little leakage to the tight end, pop it to him. Running back runs your most aggressive defensive end over.
Which is, by the way, not again to like pump tires or anything, but Bob and Zoe are so much better than virtually every TV broadcast. And once you like hook in, it's like you can't go back to the TV. Once you listen to them for a little while, that's it. So
Well, they're critical. And again, I listen to a lot of the games, not the Patriots, but like let's say the 4:00 games yesterday on the local broadcast.
Yeah.
I heard the Green Bay broadcast of the Lions game.
Yes.
And everyone's like, and I know Zoe's like a homer and like wants them to win, but Zoe can also be very critical. These guys are never critical.
No.
Like they obviously are, like remember Kuhn, Kuhn from Green Bay?
Oh, he's a fullback.
I believe he was a fullback.
Yeah.
He's like their sideline guy, like for the radio.
Okay.
And like everything is like grand. And Green Bay was playing really poorly.
Yeah.
And so, it was a terrible day and they were playing poorly and he didn't have anything negative to say. Yeah. So I will give Sosi and Scott a lot of credit. I do think, in all seriousness, I think that they're the best. The Lions have a good guy.
The Lions have a good guy, but I can't sign off on them being critical because that's really the only local broadcast I listen to other than the our teams here in Boston.
And of course, the Jets guys are critical because they cover the Jets.
But there's nothing to be critical about with the Lions lately, so there's not a lot of criticism going down on those broadcasts.
Yeah, I haven't heard it this year really.
Yeah. Drake May out there, of course, a week after he was concussed and got out of the protocol, and apparently no issues, at least he doesn't think so.
Shotgun snap play, fake. May slides left under pressure. He runs it past the 40, 45-50, May 45-40, and Drake May is tackled in the open field, brought down after a run to the 39 of Tennessee, galloping in the open field after feeling the pressure from his right.
All right, so if you watch a lot of football, yesterday you saw why a guy like Drake May is so important because he can run and we'll I know for sure get to it and extend plays. Did you guys see any of the Sunday night football game?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the Colts are hamstrung with Flacco at quarterback.
Yep,
because he can't run.
Yeah.
Like he can't evade the rush. He might have been sacked 8 times yesterday. I'm not like going off on a tangent. It all goes to Drake May. Drake May's ability to run the ball like that, and as everyone knows by now, extend plays is something that's absolutely more than ever completely necessary.
And that's the X factor, because as a rookie, he's going to make mistakes. We saw a bunch of them yesterday.
Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes.
But I mean, right after that big run that Hardy just played, he took a bad sack to push them further back, and Sly missed a long field goal. I mean, on 3rd down and long, you can't take the sack that May took. Now, these games don't matter, really, so it's not damaging, but you see it. And we'll talk about the play later, but he threw a couple of really bad interceptions also, and took a bad strip sack where he should have gotten out of the pocket.
But and they made a big deal about it on TV. You saw like Mason Rudolph can't evade. He's not fast enough to get past.
Yeah.
Because like the days of Brady was just so smart and quick with the ball. Like, he's such an outlier.
But now most every quarterback worth a damn can make up for whatever mistakes he makes by extending the plays, by running for first downs, by making plays like that.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 best quarterbacks in football are Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. They have that ability.
Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar Jackson, but I would say Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, but Lamar Jackson's great too. And the best rookie quarterback is Jaden Daniels, and you see it. He's the same thing. It's not just running, it's the ability to extend plays. It's so frustrating if you're an Indianapolis fan or if you're a Jets fan to see these old quarterbacks that are immobile, because they just are at the mercy of a clean pocket, and they just don't happen very often in the NFL anymore.
Yeah. Well, John, you mentioned the mistakes, and you did too, Fred, that May made yesterday. And yes, after the missed field goal, Titans stalled out on their drive, and Pats get the ball back.
3rd and 8 for the Patriots, and Drake May dropping back to throw. Pressured, stands in, throws across the middle, intercepted. It's picked up by Amani Hooker at the 50. 45-40, tackled and brought down by Michael Jordan. Back foot throw under pressure.
That's a pressured check and duck.
Easy pick for Hooker.
So much pressure he's under here that he just, off the back foot, as you said, Bob, it's sort of one of those check and ducks, man.
You know, I got a tingle because they said Amore Hooker. And I used to see an escort named Amore. Love
those prostitutes.
Ooh, I can't get enough.
You know what? They'd level out the interception totals there very, very soon after that Drake May interception.
One split left, takes the snap, quick throw to the right. It's a high ball, and it's going to be deflected, intercepted.
You dummies.
Another pass, and this one's a pick.
Good
with
for
the
you.
Deflection into the end zone, and Jelani Tavai has it for a touchback.
He deserved a pick. That's got to be so stupid. First and goal inside the 5, and you're in the gun. Oh, my God. Running bootlegs. You got the back running all over the place. Horse collar tackle, and you throw a pick.
Yeah, the best player on the field is Pollard, their running back. They're running pretty much at will. They get down to the goal line, and they decide to throw 2 plays in a row.
Mason Rudolph is terrible.
Yeah, he's not
terrible. He got bailed out. There was one ball that should have been picked that wasn't, and then there was that one right there where it was a slant at the goal line that was so high his receiver had no chance to bring that in, and it was an easy tip drill interception.
Yeah.
He's awful.
That would lead to a Patriots field goal, make it 7-3. The end of the half is when the bad football really started. Just a botched end of the half series with back-to-back runs that didn't make sense. There was a bad punt. It was not good. It was not fun to watch. Let's just skip ahead to the fourth quarter. Okay.
You don't want to talk about that?
I don't. I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. We'll just
we'll move on.
We'll skip to another. I don't even know so much if I would call this a mistake, but it was bad play for the Patriots.
May takes the snap from the 32. He pumps left, and now he's pressured, and the ball is knocked loose. It's going to be recovered by Hasty. No, he couldn't cover up the football. He had a shot at it. And then scrum ensues, and the Titans say they have it. Drake May gave it a pump. He tried to slide up. He was hit from behind, and he coughed it up. And the Titans have possession.
6 and change.
Just too much pressure.
He didn't feel the rush behind him.
No.
I mean, that Vidarian Lowe got beat clean, and May held on to the ball too long. It's one of those rookie mistakes. You know, it was one of those deals. He had a bad interception earlier. There was that one, and I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but he threw a ball up the left sideline that should have been intercepted. It was basically a pop-up, and it was dropped. You know, these are what you go through with a rookie quarterback.
Right. Right. And watching the other games as we all do around this is the difference right now, because as we'll get to when we summarize all this, the offense yesterday consisted of Drake May and not much else. 95 rushing yards on his own. Between his passing yards and his rushing yards, he accounted for all but 15 yards of offense,
something like that.
It's so you've got that. You need receivers to haul down some catches, to run some better routes, and yet you see the good receivers all over the league. And I'm not saying that Drake May is perfect and every one of those incompletions should have been caught, but he doesn't have a lot else to help him out right now. The final drive, the one that everyone is talking about, with a minute 45 starting from the 50.
Marcus Jones, punt return, put him there.
Marcus Jones,
big day.
Fantastic.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He might be an all-pro.
Yes, a 44-yard punt return, and now the Patriots are driving, and they get down to the goal line. They got one last chance.
The snap to May, back 2 steps, looks to the end zone. He pumps, he backs up, he slides left. He looks in the left corner. Now he rolls to his right. He pulls up in the middle of the field. Drake May eludes a defender, running to his left, looking to the end zone, trying to keep the play alive. Falling down, he throws to the end zone. It's caught!
He's got it!
Touchdown! Ramondre Stevenson!
Oh, my God,
Drake May kept the play alive when it seemingly was over more than once.
What a play by May. It's right. It's left.
Cardona snaps. Beringer holds. The kick is airborne to the uprights, and the kick is good.
Got it. I told you we're going overtime.
Yeah, he did.
All right.
First of all, I don't know why you rushed 3 there. I don't know why you don't. You've been having a great deal of success getting pressure on the kid, and you just rushed 3.
As it was, he still almost got sacked twice.
Yeah, well, I mean,
With
3
rushers.
Well, I got news for you. If someone can elude the rush for 10 seconds, your guys are not going to be able to stay on people.
Right.
Like, it's just not going to happen. But, I mean, again, Patriot fans, this is the future of the NFL. Not Drake May. I don't know if Drake May is the future of the NFL. He's going to be good. But this is what you need your quarterback to be able to do. They need to get in the end zone. This is it. And to be able to elude the rush, he ran for 95 yards, but to be able to elude the rush like that, but then controversy, because then that gets you within a point. You're on the road.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is gassed, as Gerard Mayo said after the game. What would you have done there? Would you have kicked the extra point, or would you have gone for 2 to just win on the road?
I always kick the extra. I always say kick the extra point, go to overtime, take your chances. Yesterday, I would have gone for 2.
You absolutely go for 2 there. This team, there are no guarantees the longer you play football. The Tennessee, as bad as they were better than you yesterday. You needed a miracle just to get there. You absolutely go for 2 in the win.
Well, you saw that Mayo said, and you saw in overtime that the Patriots defense was gassed, that they were out of it. And
Tony Pollard is running left and right, and as bad as Mason Rudolph was, he was still able to find receivers. Christian Gonzalez, your number 1 cornerback, had a terrible day yesterday.
Yeah, but they were
Ridley was running free for most of the afternoon.
Well, in overtime, they were running it well. They were just running it down your throat.
Yeah, I would have gone for 2 there.
And, yeah, that's the thing, is that I probably would have 2, and then they were go ahead to overtime, because it was pretty interesting the way they handled things.
Well, you're talking about the Titans.
No, the Titans ran up. That's unfair to ask you. But the Titans, ran it well. They had to settle for a field goal. But then when the Patriots got the ball back, all of a sudden the strategy was, we're just going to chuck it.
Yes.
Which you had plenty of time. I don't understand. Like, all of a sudden they're just chucking it downfield.
I think Gerard Mayo and Alex Van Pelt looked and said, we're not running the football worth a damn, which they weren't.
No, and I think that also was because Joe brought this up, because based on the post-game press conference and everything, was there this idea that the offense was gassed? Like that everyone... It just seemed like they wanted to get off the field. They just seemed to want to get it down the field and get out of there, which is why you didn't go. I don't know why you didn't go for 2.
Yeah, you should have gone for 2, and the offense had a terrible day.
So just to back up for a second, yes, when Tennessee got the ball in overtime, it's Pollard. There's an incomplete pass. Another one. Pollard. and it's always saying, it's like Just give the ball to Pollard. Why are you trying to any of these passes at all? And they run it right down the field. Nick Folk, love him, still. 25-yard field goal is good, of course.
You're leaving out one thing. I'm sorry to interrupt. The Tennessee would have scored a touchdown, but they had a fumbled snap that forced them into third and long.
Yes.
So,
and then when the Patriots get the ball, May incomplete to Hunter Henry, the one guy that you should be able to depend on. He did scramble and ran it himself on the second play, but the play that essentially ended the game.
Drake waits on the snap and takes it. He drops back. May has time initially. Loads up, throws a deep ball. He's got a man downfield, Booty, but it's intercepted. Hooker has it. His second pick of the day. Game sealer for Tennessee.
Great up, kid. Ain't see the backside. Shoot. And boy, look at them all. Look at the team going over to Drake May. The entire team.
The Titans win it 20-17.
Yeah. And so we got a break, but interesting strategy at the end of the game. We can continue talking about it. If you wish, 617-779-0985. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Well, as you just heard, the Patriots were beaten yesterday in overtime by the Titans in Tennessee, 20-17. Drake May, a touchdown pass on the last play of regulation, but intercepted in overtime to end it after a Nick Folk field goal on the first possession of the game for Tennessee. Patriots are 2-7. They visit Chicago this Sunday. The Bears are 4-4. They got blown out in Arizona yesterday, 29-9. Bruins shut out Seattle last night, 2-0 at TD Garden. That's back-to-back shutouts for the Bruins. Their next game is in Toronto tomorrow night. Celtics will be in Atlanta tonight. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at around 7:45 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jaylen Brown is out again with a hip flexor strain, and Red Sox rookie right fielder Wilyer Abreu is a Gold Glove winner in the American League this year. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Prolotherapy. Don't let joint pain keep you off the court, course, or trail. Eliminate that pain with Dr. Frankie of Boston Prolotherapy. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
More touch. Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Hardy, what's going on?
Just back to the Patriots here for a moment. And maybe the folly of trying to pass the ball there in overtime, but also the notion that going for it and going for the win at the end of the game. This is the point of the season where you say, yeah, that's probably not going to hurt the psyche of the team. It's not like you engineered this amazing drive and then executed the perfect play to get to 17-16 and that you would be totally deflated by missing the 2-point conversion. I think that lent itself to a really good opportunity to go for two, get what would close to be or would be a walk-off win, and just
put the ball into kids' hands again.
And just
give it to them.
Just get the win that way, as opposed to trying your luck in overtime. You were not lucky yesterday. You really didn't have, other than that last play, which you can't count on happening twice. Go ahead. Let's see if we can get this win here. We'll get two in a row, and we'll feel good about it. I don't know that it was good. This is the part that I would guard against. Had you played a really good game, or you had engineered, a drive there and gotten yourself down there and played really excellent football, and then you're just gonna, pee it away by going for two when you don't have to. You could play for overtime. That wasn't the case. This was a pretty bad game, and you could have gotten a win, and otherwise, you're not going to be deflated if you don't.
Agreed.
That was my only my only emotional thought of it. I have no confidence they would have been able to convert on it.
No, but
give it a shot.
It's experience, if nothing else. And Fred, one thing we saw yesterday was a sea change. This offense has been run, and then pass on third and short, or give the kid third and manageable. Yesterday, it was 2/3 pass to run. And I think, and Mike Reese brought this up after the game, and I agree with him, it's time now to change everything. Just give the kid the football and pass as much as you can, get the ball down the field. Now, he's hamstrung because these receivers are lousy, except for Hunter Henry, but this looks right now like the only way you're going to be able to move the football down the field. Give this kid the football and let him work.
Yep, unless he's running it right. Jeremy, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Fred, so you were asking about that last drive there, of why they were just chucking it. Well, so I have 2 points. One, obviously they had no timeouts left. Their running game was horrible yesterday.
Wait, what? In overtime?
No. Throughout the whole game, and even
I was saying just in overtime they decided to just start chucking it deep. There was the incompletion deep to Henry, which he got his hands on, and then they just chucked it up again, and that was the interception. Yeah.
Right. I guess I see what you're saying, but I'm just saying their short yardage plays really weren't there the whole game. I mean, what's his name? I can't think. Pop Douglas. He was their only go-to that was actually had hands yesterday. And Henry was pretty good. Good. But other than that, they really didn't have anybody. And every screen pass was for a loss or no gain. I think Ramondre Stevens even fumbled one at one point where they recovered it again.
That was a lateral. It was behind him.
Lateral. Yeah, and he bobbled it.
Yep.
But to your point, yes, they should have definitely went for two because their offense wasn't clicking, and it was by luck of whatever that they actually got that last one off in overtime to go to overtime.
Yeah, because if the strategy was – because, again, Mayo said after the game that the defense was gassed. So –
right.
Best case scenario, you win the coin flip. You're under the, you're just going to chuck it up. I mean, who knows if that's, who knows if that's going to work? And your defense is they're just going to be able to run on you.
And they're going to give up a field goal anyway.
Right, exactly. So, I would have gone for two as well. But There is a debate. Dan, go ahead, Danny.
I think it's more of like a reaction, like you said. So if today, they went for it and missed, then it's like, dude, you just take the points and take your chances.
No.
So I think it is reactionary. And I did notice in overtime that it did seem like chuck and duck, but I have a little experience in this. I was playing in the backyard with some fourth graders, and I mean, dinner time was coming. Dinner time was upon us, and I'm like, all right, dude, we just got to chuck and duck, dude. Let's go. And I was heaving it out there, So I get it. I think I understand.
Yeah, those kids can get ornery once the sun goes down.
Yeah.
They start getting hungry, and they want it. Listen, yeah, if they would have missed the 2-point conversion, I'm not, throwing a fit and saying that what a terribly coached team it is because they didn't go for two. I mean, it's certainly a debate, and because just like Tennessee, threw in the red zone and got the interception and and settled for a field goal at one point. Like Tennessee can point back and go, well, we won the game. So I'm not like throwing a fit. I'm just thought it was an interesting debate. Do you go for two? Because it's more of a logic thing. Like what do you think is better? Do you think that do you go for two there, or do you take the extra point and take the points and go to overtime?
I'm glad we were rewarded with this kind of ending because I can unequivocally say that's the worst football game I've seen all season.
Oh, yeah, all season.
All season.
Yeah, but not
bad penalties to bring plays
last
back,
year.
Bad quarterback play for the first three quarters. I mean, Mason Rudolph missed a couple of wide open guys. We mentioned Gonzalez. I mean, Calvin Ridley had a couple of drops in there. I mean, Drake May, before he got his act together on the final drive, was missing open guys. Polk had his wide array of mistakes, a drop, and then a couple of bad penalties. Have you ever seen a wide receiver take off for a false start by running down the field? Have you ever seen that before in your life?
It's pretty
Kendrick
funny.
Bourne did that. He sprinted 10 yards down the field on a false
The announcers
start.
actually did a good job on that. Just saying,
I've never seen that before.
They were like, how can that happen? You're going on the snap of the ball. Like, you're not listening to cadence. Like, you're literally looking at the ball.
And Bourne just took off.
And he just took off, which is pretty funny. Listen, if you're a Patriot fan, two things yesterday. Obviously, the play of May. I really think that he's going to be good, and it's certainly exciting. I mean, it's a lot. It's very special. I hope you appreciate that you probably hit on this kid, and just he's got everything that you need physically, and he seems to be composed. You got those, and I also liked how involved Mayo was with the defense vocally on the field during that game. Like, Mayo is very much in charge of that defense, which I think is good. And this is all learning stuff. Like the Jet game, like, it doesn't really matter if you win or lose it. Well, because it's just that you stayed in. You'll learn how to win. Yeah. You'll learn how to win. You just don't know how yet. All right, we got a break. But there's plenty of time to talk about this throughout the show. Plus, so much more is going on.
There was a game against Charlotte that your Celtics faced their old teammate Grant Williams.
Two games against Charlotte.
That's right. They had their double visit there in Charlotte. Why are they doing that still? It was a COVID thing.
It was a COVID thing that they kept to limit travel, and I guess the players like it because they don't have to go back.
Okay.
Whatever.
Cedric was debating whether or not to go to the Panthers game yesterday. I mean, Cedric was actually going to venture out of the hotel room.
That is Cedric's. He very rarely does it, but I've told you guys, when he's in Charlotte, that's his town.
He's the king.
So,
as I know from him giving the number to my enemy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electric. Ryan and his team want to thank all the great men and women in the trades who get up early every morning to keep our homes and businesses running. Keep working hard and finish every job strong.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, the Patriots.
Into the end zone.
Here.
Touchdown for the Patriots. Score.
WBZ FM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Tennessee Titans got a 25-yard field goal from Nick Folk on the first possession of overtime and then added an interception of Drake May right after that for a 20-17 win over the Patriots in Nashville yesterday. May forced OT with the play of his young football career, a 5-yard touchdown pass to Ramondre Stevenson with no time left after scrambling around for more than 10 seconds.
It was a super long play on the field. But yeah, we needed to score. It was no more time on the clock, so I just, kept working. I think it was a DB on me. I kept just trying to work him and, get open, and he threw me the ball.
May finished with 209 yards passing and 95 yards rushing for the day. The Patriots fall to 2-7. They play in Chicago this coming Sunday. The Bears were beaten in Arizona yesterday by the Cardinals 29-9. They are 4-4. The Bruins got 23 saves in net from Jeremy Swayman. They posted their second consecutive shutout last night, 2-0 over Seattle at TD Garden. The Bruins are now 6-1. They're in Toronto tomorrow night. Another story from the game, David Pasternak. He was on the bench in the third period but didn't play at all, and Jim Montgomery called it a coaching decision. The Celtics wrap up their 4-game road trip in Atlanta tonight. Branding and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at close to 7:45 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jaylen Brown out again with a hip flexor strain. And in baseball news, the Gold Gloves were handed out last night. Red Sox rookie right fielder Wilyer Abreu was among them. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Oakers Technologies, delivering the attention of a local team with the scale to be your single-source IT partner. Get future-ready with Oakers Technologies, proud partner of your New England Patriots. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom
day
right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
Boston on the move. Bounce pass lead for Derek White, and Grant Williams gets in front of Tatum. They collide, knocks him down, and then Tatum got up quickly. And John Conley, the younger official, not understanding their relationship, jumped up like Tatum was going to go after Grant. And Grant just went really hard into Tatum.
Yeah, he went really hard into him, but what he was doing, he was just getting up. Tatum was getting up, walking away. He wasn't going into the play.
No, he wasn't, but I'll tell you what, that should be a flagrant.
Grant Williams accelerates, makes a significant impact to the dribbler. A non-basketball play, potential for injury. Because of these reasons, the play has been upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty, too. Wow. Grant Williams has been ejected from the game. 2 shots for Jaylen Brown. Boston ball, side out.
Yeah, Sean, they don't understand the fun relationship that they have.
No, Jason Tatum, here's the relationship. Jason Tatum's not going to fight anybody, but if he did, he would absolutely fight Grant Williams.
Yeah, the guy who called games for 50 years, Mike Gorman, on these very airwaves, talked about how no one liked Grant Williams, which I sensed right away, by the way. We are Toucher and Hardy. Watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I knew it right away. Grant Williams, huge nerd. Like, and annoying. Like, he's an annoying nerd. I knew it as soon as I saw him, but he... after a basket, he goes into just for no reason, like knocks Tatum down. I don't know what Grandy's talking about. They don't know their relationship. Like, that was fun. Do we have the Derek White stuff? Do you just tell me what we got? Do we have the Derek White stuff of him playing catch?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have that in audio? Because if we don't, I can describe it. So, Derek White, who can't throw a baseball correctly, which is pretty funny, is playing catch. What do you mean? Well, no, he's got a glove on and he's
Behind
playing
one
catch.
of the baskets before warm-ups, he's playing catch with someone. He just has a baseball glove on his hand.
Yeah.
He's playing catch with a baseball.
And then Grant Williams is like, wait, you're just going to ignore me? Because he's ignoring Grant Williams. And then he's talking, ignoring Grant Williams to the point where he's talking to the guy he's playing catch with while Grant Williams is talking to him. And then finally he relents and and does a little like a hug with Grant Williams. But there was two interesting things about that is that Derek White does not throw properly, if you've noticed. Did you notice that?
Can't be good at everything.
Well, I never understand why someone can't throw. Like, why they don't know how to throw.
He hasn't done it.
They never went out in the yard and had a catch with their old man.
He played basketball his whole life. That's why he can't throw.
Oh, I think you can throw. It doesn't have to be playing baseball. I mean, you just throw a football, throw anything. Like, you just throw overhand. You don't know how to throw overhand?
Maybe he's got the yips. He's in a tunnel there. Maybe he's worried about throwing it wrong. There are people all around.
I've had the yips, but if you were just watching a video of the ball, my motion and the way the ball was coming out of my hand, you wouldn't know I had them. The yips was just I didn't know where it was going to go. But I can at least throw right. So anyway, that's how it starts in pregame. If you want to know what Derek White does, how you make USA basketball, is you play catch with a mitt on.
This is pregame before Friday's game. Yes.
Okay.
So we saw what happened. What did Grant Williams have to say for himself post-game? And by the way, flagrant 2, ejected for that? Yes?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he went from one sideline, made a beeline to Tatum and steamrolled him. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a flagrant 2.
What wiggle room does it give you, though, for, sorry, Fred, like a Draymond Green kick or punch to the balls?
Well, they kick him out. But that a kick and punch to the balls during play, I think they judge differently, as they just said. This is a non-basketball play.
This wasn't going for a rebound. There's no expectation of physicality in the middle of the floor. Like just running.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like when the ball's in play and you hit a guy in the balls or something like that, that's at least during the play. Grant Williams just hit Jason Tatum after a play on purpose. It's like the Rudy Gobert thing. When I don't know, were they playing Denver? Who were they playing?
I think it was Denver.
And
yes.
in the white kid, he makes the basket.
Christian
and
Braun.
He starts. Well, thank you, John. I don't know who that is anyway, but
Johnny
no, thank you. I'm not being sarcastic. Thank you. And the guy this Braun kid flexes,
dunked on him. Yes.
And then Gobert just like clotheslines him a little bit, and then there's like blah blah blah, and then Gobert like freaks out because Russell Westbrook comes up. Yeah. Like but I don't think they flagrant 2'd him.
No.
Because he was celebrating. Like Grant Williams did this for no reason other than he's weird.
Let's hear from Grant before we start name calling Fred.
I think at the time of the game, that's probably what stressed the flagrant 2. It was a transition opportunity, and I was trying to make a play on the ball. I did reach across his body, and probably like when you slow down the replay, it looks like I got to make a play, and I just kind of go after it. I think it's like, JT's one of my closest friends in the league. It's no intentional talent.
Is he?
No, he's not.
Is he?
And you're so unaware that these guys all don't like you.
All right. This is where I add my Grant Williams story. Media Day 2 years ago, I had a chance to talk to Grant. We talked about, his love of Catan and all the board games he loves. And he said, I've had the guys to my house to play. All the guys who come to my house. So he was first. We brought in Tatum and Brown and asked each one of them, so did you go to Grant Williams' house? Jaylen Brown looked at us and said, Grant Williams is a liar. I've never been to his house. We asked him, all right, so what's it like having Grant Williams as your teammate? And Jason Tatum said, it took me about 2 years to get used to him. 2 years! And you're traveling with him every day.
But Grandy, they're best friends. And then we asked Gorman about it, and he's like, yeah, Grant Williams was annoying. Everyone was annoyed by him. They didn't like him. He's pissed about not being on the Celtics anymore. He feels like and then he talked his way out of Dallas by wearing stupid. What was he wearing?
He was wearing
Tatum's.
He was wearing Jordans in front of Luka.
But he was wearing Tatum Jordans, I think, in front of.
That's right. He was wearing Tatum Jordans instead of Luka, who had outfitted the entire team with his shoe.
Yeah, and then they hated him anyway, so he got talked his way out of there.
Lasted 3 months in Dallas before they traded him.
Let me put it this way: he'd at least still be in Dallas if he wasn't so annoying. And what was the deal to get Williams out of here? Or they just let him go? They traded him, right?
I think it was like
No, they let him go. They let him go. There was a free agent signing.
Might have been a sign and trade, but yeah, it wasn't like a trade.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you it in some way was a factor in him leaving the Celtics that he's so annoying and such a dork.
Oh, yeah. You, in a situation like that, like we've talked about, guys like, who's the guy who preceded Missoula? Why can't I think? Ime Udoka. Udoka and Missoula. You can bet the Celtics ran both of those guys by Jason Tatum. Same thing. Okay, we have Grant Williams here. Do you want Grant Williams back? I'm willing to bet money that Tatum's like, if you want to let him go, be my guest.
Which is why John and I are so fascinated by it, because like, how often is your personality of being a dork, not like a criminal or like, someone who's violent, just like being an annoying dork costing you this much money? Well, I can think of another guy. Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. That's something I overlooked in the game yesterday. Maybe you guys can help out. I never saw Joe Mazzulla go and take one of Grant Williams' 5 coins for fighting. Love the show. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That is Joe Mazzulla's idea was to get 5 coins and you can fight someone and get away with it.
Not in the NBA, in the world. Everyone in the world gets 5 coins.
It could theoretically be in an arena if you want.
No, right? Yeah, you could do that. Yes, you could use it, but it's not just for basketball players.
Right. Oh, sure.
This is everybody.
Yeah.
It was a sign and trade with Grant Williams.
Yeah,
by the way.
I knew it wasn't.
There were
just
picks going back and forth. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. I don't want to hear any more from Grant. I'd rather listen to what Eddie House had to say about this. This is delightful.
I was told this when I was a youngster, that every brother ain't a brother, right? And just because we might be cool, I mean, that's not even a play on the ball. That's not a play. That's something that's built up in him. That play right there was not a basketball play.
No. Well, maybe he didn't hear Grant say he was reaching for the ball and that it was in transition. And it was really just more about the time of the game. The officials were just trying to, make a statement in terms of, at what point it was in the game. That's why he got the flagrant too.
I was talking with someone about this right after it happened, and we talked about how he did reach out with his right arm, but he reached out with his right arm to make sure he got ahead of Tatum so it wasn't a blatant push from behind.
There you go.
That was one of those things where he leaned forward real quick. See, it wasn't a push from behind. It's not a take foul. I was going, I got in front of him. That's a bunch of crap.
Eddie House, more on Grant Williams.
You pay attention to the hip-hop world, right? So Grant Williams is the guy that was wearing the wire to go against Lil Durk. Because the whole time you acting like you cool, but you really not. Because if you really cool with somebody and you really love them and you really trust them and you really mess with them like that, you ain't finna run through their body like that and try to hurt them. That was not a basketball play. So I look at Grant Williams as like, he wearing a wire out here, man. He finna tell on everybody, man.
Well, he says, if you've been told every brother ain't a brother, that's from Welcome to the Terradome. Every brother ain't a brother because of color just as well could be an undercover, backstabbed, grabbed a flag.
Oh, okay. Public Enemy.
I knew when I heard it. I'm like, that's from Welcome to the Terradome, off of Fear of a Black Planet.
Just in case he thinks, Grant Williams thinks he's best friends with Jason Tatum, I don't know that he should be thinking that about Jaylen Brown.
Listen, I just was saying that was some bullshit. That was pretty much it. Nothing crazy. That was it.
That was it.
Actions speak loud, so it is what it is. We got the win, we move on, but, there's no place in the game for that. I thought JT and Grant was friends. I guess not.
No,
you haven't been paying attention.
All right. I'll tell you this, is that we have our friend Michael Reese coming on. It was a game yesterday where you showed, again, I'm very excited if I'm a Patriot fan. The most important thing you can have seems to be here. A poised, incredibly gifted quarterback. And if you look around the league, you need him, his skill set. Extending plays, being able to run when pressure gets on him. It's just watch Flacco last night. Flacco was not as good as Richardson. Like, they're not as good, and I just read something about it too. Like, Flacco, because they don't have a great offensive line, Flacco is a sitting duck. Like, if you get, he can't avoid pressure.
And now that pressure arrives in under 3 seconds, on average, it arrives in less than 3 seconds. You need to get the hell out of the pocket.
I mean, they're thinking of like allowing holding, like easing up on holding because of the advantage that edge rushers have, or rushers in general have. And so there you go. By the way, the after every brother ain't a brother and welcome to the Terradome, a little anti-Semitic. I have to be honest with you.
That's right.
If you need to know. Yeah, because it goes right into it right after that line.
Yeah, there's some problematic lyrics with Public Enemy throughout the years. Farrakhan's a prophet that I think you ought to listen to. What he can say to you.
What you're going to do is follow for now.
Hear
Power
all
to the people say. Make a miracle.
The lyrical. Black is back.
All in. We're going to win.
Check it
You
out.
only know that
y'all,
because of
Here we go again.
of Scott Ian from Anthrax.
Well, they made that song, you know. Yeah, it wasn't nothing until Anthrax.
Go look at Anthrax about 1988 when they had to deal with Vans and see what they were popping on as clothes.
I'd rather not.
A lot of like 3/4 pants,
Oh.
like those silky, like wildly covered. Oh. They all had the Roscop like stuff on, and Gator, and Gator ended up killing a chick. Kaboom! All right, we'll be back with Mike Reese.
You're listening. on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
He's athletic, very athletic guy. He wants to win, and I wanted to win. The whole team wanted to win, but we didn't do that today.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Mike Reese is ESPN's NFL Nation reporter covering the Patriots. It's brought to you by DN Van Lines. Moving your home or business and need a recommendation from someone? How about a recommendation from almost the entire staff here at the Sports Hub and the Sports Hub itself? Yes, they moved the station to dnvanlines.com. Mike joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Michael Reese, hello.
Good morning, Fred. Hey, Hardy. John, are you in there today?
I am. I'm here. Thank you so much for mentioning my name, Mike. It makes me feel good.
I love it. Live from Nashville Airport, so I apologize in advance for any announcements, but I am tucked into a shoe shine little shop here to try to find the quietest place.
Oh, there you go. Have you ever had your shoes shined at the airport, Mike?
I have. It's been a while.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
Yeah, I like it.
I just had my sneakers retouched at the Natick Mall.
Oh, they do a nice job?
Did you go to Laced downstairs? Is that where you went?
No, I did. I go in there sometimes, and then I start look at StockX while I'm looking at those shoes, and I say I could get these
a little
for
cheaper.
a lot less.
Yes, I agree.
But this is a brick and mortar. I should be getting a better deal here, I feel.
No.
Anyway, Mike, what did you think about the teams settling for the extra point after the great Drake May play?
Oh boy! So are you guys analytics guys? Like, what do you feel?
Yeah,
about
I'm open to anything. If I was a coach, I'd use analytics. If I had very little time to make a decision, I'd lean on analytics.
Okay, so just the numbers. I had asked our analytics expert at ESPN, what did the model tell you about that situation? And he said that the ESPN analytics model supported the choice to kick and go to overtime. The exact number was 48.2, and then to do the 2-point play was 45.7.
Okay.
So it was close, and it doesn't account for, hey, you're 2-6. What do you have to lose this season? It doesn't account for the prior play in which Drake May was running around for 11.82 seconds. He was tired, all that stuff, but I will be honest with you guys. We had talked about it in the press box among reporters before the drive began and said, if they score here, would you go for 2? And I said at the start of the drive, I would probably play for overtime. But I don't think it's like one or the other. I think you could argue for either side.
Yeah, and also that doesn't factor in that Mayo said the defense was gassed after the game. I mean, you saw the way Tennessee was just able to run the ball in overtime. There is that 50-50 chance of losing the coin flip and not receiving the ball. Do you think – I want to ask you this because I heard Joe Murray talking about it after the game, and I thought it was interesting. In overtime when the Patriots got the ball, they had plenty of time. Do you think that they went deep twice. One in the second time it was picked off. Did that have something to do with, you think, that May – in his condition that he was in at that point in terms of fatigue and things like that they figured maybe we should just get this downfield as soon as possible?
I don't think so, Fred. I think if anything, it was the clock. That was a long drive that the Titans had. That drive of 7 minutes and 28 seconds, I think, was the longest drive in overtime in the NFL, I think, since 2018, if I have it off the top of my head. So they get the ball back with just 2:32 left in overtime. Are you playing for the win? Are you playing for the tie with that little time left? That would be my assumption without having reviewed the overtime. And I do want to say, in overtime, I thought one key play, not to overlook it, 3rd and 5, you have them in a passing situation. You blitzed, you got good pressure, and Calvin Ridley beat Christian Gonzalez just straight up. 2 great players, one-on-one matchup. You hope your corner, would win that matchup. He didn't. it extended the drive for them, and I thought that was a key play in overtime.
Well, let's talk about Christian Gonzalez a little bit. He did very well against Devontae Adams the game before and had that one pass breakup at the beginning of the game yesterday. But by and large, I thought he struggled for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, and John, it's hard for me live without knowing what the calls are. Like, when was he in man? When was it zone? I thought that play I can lock in on 3rd and 5 overtime. It's man-to-man. It's him on Calvin Ridley. And that you play that better technique-wise when Ridley's coming out of his break and you're coming out of your break and you're a little bit tighter, maybe you're forcing a punt and the Patriots are getting the ball back in overtime and all they need is a field goal to win. So I thought it's hard for me to say like totality-wise, but I thought that one play you can absolutely drill down on and say, Ridley got the best of Gonzalez in a key moment.
My point was, but it was a larger point about Gonzalez. I'm not sure I'm ready to call him great. He shows flashes of greatness. You can see physically he is able to do the job, but I'm not. We're week to week, and Mike, see if you agree with me. I'm really not sure what to expect. He can do it, but can he do it consistently?
Yeah, John, I think that's more than fair for a second-year player who in his rookie season only played 3.5 games. So I would not push back on you. I would also give credit to the other players. Like, he's covering the top receivers on every other team. And I think some weeks we see he has a better performance than those top players. I would say like last week against Devontae Adams. But then other weeks he doesn't, like Stephon Diggs. And the Texans, I thought, got the best of him. So I think it's a fair point by you.
Looking at this team going forward and to think about they've got Chicago next week. You're going to have, a look at another rookie here. I once again sitting here on a Monday, and we've had it a couple of times now after a Patriots loss with Drake May in there. It's this odd feeling of having optimism about a team that just lost a game. I'm having it again today. We talked about it from the start of the show. I think Patriots fans have already, but if they haven't, they should be really happy with the fact that it looks like you hit on this guy. Without Drake May yesterday, you don't have hardly any offense. And even though they lost the game, there's an odd optimism watching this team right now just because of Drake May.
Hardy, it's spot on. I'm here at the airport flying back to Boston, and literally there's 2 flights going back to Boston next to each other on the gates. And that's what and they're all Patriots fans. That's what everyone's talking about. Like, we got a chance with Drake May. I think the concern is, what are you doing to surround him with better things to maximize what he is? And that's the players, that's the coaching, and that is the discussion, Hardy, that literally I'm having with Patriots fans that travel.
It's not even a discussion for this year, though. I mean, I wonder how many times they can lose a game like that and have Drake May, play pretty well. He made a couple of bad mistakes in that game, but he plays well enough and he shows you enough during the game to where you come away from it thinking, well, things aren't so bad. They're 2-7. They just lost to a bad football team in a bad really football game. And again, you've got this feeling like, well, it's not so bad because you got a quarterback. Well, you're going to get better this year? No. Nothing's going to happen this year, but wait till next year. And I wonder how long that's going to be sustainable.
Well, I think, Hardy, it'll be sustainable as long as Drake keeps playing like this.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be some games where he's not running for 95 yards. I mean, that was the second highest rushing yardage for a Patriots quarterback since 1976 when Steve Rogan had 105 rushing yards.
Right.
What we saw yesterday was rare, and I think he'll have some games because he's a young player where he still where he struggles. So I think that's how long it'll last. But I feel like people that follow the team and sports know that if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. And so the Patriots have a chance because it looks like they hit on the quarterback.
Mike, I wanted you to expand upon a tweet I saw that you put out there after the game was over. This has been a run-first offense, at least at the beginning of the season. But after seeing what we saw yesterday, you think that they should just put the ball in this kid's hands and, for better or for worse, watch him operate.
And that was specific to the game, John. I felt like late second quarter, and this is a conversation about the coaching.
Oof.
You know, you get it moving with the pass, and then they're running it twice. And I think I understand what Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, is thinking, which is we want to make sure we end up with the ball in our hands at the end of the quarter, regardless of whether there's points. And the feeling being that if we can't gain a yard or 2 yards, let me see what it was. I think it was second and
it was second and 1, and they ran hasty up the middle. And then Stevenson got tackled for a loss on
right.
3rd and 1.
And that's
I mean, painful, right? That's painful. That's one that I would imagine Alex Van Pelt's going to regret. But that's when I feel like that was why I tweeted that, John, where I said, enough.
Right.
Put the ball in the kid's hands.
But can you
and
do that? Can you do that in the future? I think that tweet's not just good for yesterday. I think that's good for moving forward because this offensive line, like a lot of things on this team, is very hit or miss.
That's right. And so I think, John, that might be what it has to be this year. But I don't think that's the way to live going forward. You have to be able to run the ball. And if you want to second guess the coaching, which I will, I think what they did offensive line-wise going into this game looked like a major miscalculation. They could have come back with the same line as last week, but they put rookie Layden Robinson at right guard and then bumped Mike Owenu out to right tackle. I think we all agree Owenu is a better guard than a tackle. They ended up pulling Layden Robinson late in the second quarter to go to Mike Owenu at guard and then DeMontre Jacobs at right tackle because the Titans' best player is Jeffrey Simmons, their defensive tackle. So I think that's a fair second guess on the coaching decision going into the game.
All right. Well, listen, it's an exciting time. Do you think that Mayo had anything to do with the 2-point conversion decision?
I do.
Okay.
I think that's his call, Fred. He has to make that call.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what he says this morning. He's meeting with reporters at 9. I'm going to be in the air, so I won't be able to be on the video conference. But I do wonder if there was a part of him that said I should have gone Dan Campbell style and just said, I know what the analytics say. Let's just go for it. Like I want to tell my team, I believe in them, and if we can't get a 2-point conversion with the game in line, that's okay. The way it ended to put ourselves in that position was a win in and of itself. Maybe would have left them with a better feeling, whether they got it or not, than the way it unfolded.
Okay, so I was watching this is interesting, and then we'll let you go. I know you're at the airport. Is that I was watching the Lions, I follow them, and I was watching the Lions game yesterday, and Dan Campbell, because they were talking about how the Lions couldn't play outside. They're an indoor team, and Campbell said, well, no, we're not. And he told the team, like, we're really going to push this, that we can win in these conditions, and they did. Campbell won 3 games his first year with Detroit, and they drafted extremely well. But a lot of teams have drafted well and not won, like one in New York that's in your division. And but he did establish that attitude and like a toughness. Is there something to be said? Should Patriot fans be watching this team? Because like you just said, if Mayo comes out today and said, you know what? Maybe we should have gone for 2. He won't do that, but or in some way, do you think that establishing that culture early in Mayo's career is important? Like going for 2 is more than winning the game.
Right.
It's like, hey guys, this is the way we're going to play football.
This is what this team is going to be.
Yeah,
100%. I think, and Fred, that's your team, right? I'm
a Jet fan, but I grew up in Detroit. But go ahead.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, and I think if Gerard Mayo is regretting not going for 2, I think that's the reason why. And look, in fairness to why you don't go for it, I mean they couldn't gain a yard at the end of the second quarter,
right?
And it took them 11.82 seconds to uncover, to tie the game. But like the idea of just rolling it out there and saying, let's just go.
Well, how about the Jet game? 4th and 1, and you get it in. I know that was they had to, but you're coming off a game where you got what you needed to do. You had 2 drives down the field. The momentum of this, because again, Mike, it's not a big deal they win or lose this game ultimately, but establishing that culture should be interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And
go ahead, Mike.
I think it's a great conversation because Look at how they covered the kickoff at the start of overtime. Brendan Schooler, like that was that could have been a forced fumble. That was a great hit.
Yeah.
Guy held on to it. So it's easy for us to talk about it knowing the way it unfolded. I guess my question would be, what play would you have run in a 2-point conversion? Probably roll May out and try to let him run it in.
Oh, yeah,
right?
you're not running the football. That's for sure. That's one thing we found that they couldn't do yesterday.
That's right.
Well, you can extend those plays.
Yeah, and that's not my decision to make, Mike. I decide what to do. You decide how to do it. Okay? That's on the team.
Love it.
You go ahead.
Love
and
it,
take
Hardy.
that
And I just want to tell you guys, you missed a great one Friday night. Rick Springfield in Woonsocket. I'll give you the full report next time we talk.
Cool.
How many times have you seen Rick Springfield in your life?
I think we're up to maybe 4 or 5. But for those that are interested, you always have to go see him with the band, not acoustic.
Oh. Well, now that Robbie Robertson's dead, you can still see him with the band? Because Springfield oftentimes fronted. He filled in for Dylan when Dylan was unavailable.
Oh my God! I'm looking at the set list right now. He closed with Jesse's Girl. I'm shocked.
How about that?
He didn't do that third song in the set. Worried that people would walk out after that.
How many songs?
18.
Whoa!
Yeah. I'm going to text you guys a video right now so you can enjoy during the break after we get off here.
Are there any other ex-soap opera guys that you are big fans of, like the guy who did Rock On?
Yeah, no, Jack Wagner.
Yeah,
Jack Wagner had a solo career, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, Mike Reese, I like that you go to these shows. You live a very full life, and safe travels back from Nashville, my friend. Hopefully, no connections for you. Hopefully, ESPN is
absolutely
not cutting
look
costs.
Look at the shoe shine here.
Exactly. All right.
That's right.
Thanks.
We're good.
Thanks, Mike. We
See you,
appreciate it
Mike.
as
All right,
always.
guys.
All right, there you go. The great Mike Reese.
You make a really good point though, Fred. You start doing stuff like going for 2-point conversions, going for it on a fourth down early, like Dan Campbell did with the Lions. And so what? You win 2-3 games your first year, but then that becomes your calling card, and the team is not thrown off by it. The fan base last night, when you're playing in horrible conditions in Green Bay, they get on the board first. It's 3-0. You're 4th and goal from the 5. No one is shocked when Goff goes back out there and they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Just very quickly, here's the thing with the Lions. If you haven't watched them, they're the best team in the NFL, and the way and the reason is that they can put up a tremendous amount of points. They have great skill position players. They have change of pace skill position guys, but their offensive line's insane. But they have the ability, if they want, to just smash you. Like they did it the first game of the season. It was overtime. First game of the season, team they faced, they win the coin toss. I can't remember who they're playing, but they're tired on defense. They just up the middle, down the field. Like they've established that culture. And there was this big thing: Goff can't win outside. Your defense can't defend. Like da 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 da. And Campbell went, "Oh yeah, well here we go." There was a pick six. They dominated time of possession, so on and so forth. They were outgained in that game.
Yeah,
by a lot, I think. And it doesn't matter because of that style of play. Go ahead, real quick.
It can backfire, though. Who is that guy with the Chargers that replaced Anthony Lynn that went for it on fourth down constantly?
But
you have to have the players,
but
too.
it's not just going for it on fourth down, John. That's not really even that's part of the point. But the point is, if we need to pick up 2 yards, we'll pick up 2 yards. That's it. It's not getting cute with the fourth downs, and Campbell might have blown the NFC Championship game by doing that. But it is that to me, it's more than it's more than fourth down or more than going for 2. It's that idea that we can get 2 yards. We can get 2 yards. You can't stop us. Like, even if you know what we're gonna do, we'll pick it up. Like we're bigger than you. We'll push you around.
Mike Reese actually sent the video. He actually texted all of us the Rick Springfield video.
Oh, Jesus.
I thought he was kidding.
No, that was his main incentive for
is.
today. All right, listen, very quickly when we come back, the Bruins, they've tried. Everyone wants the coach fired. We made a point going into this weekend, and also some controversy during the game yesterday. We'll be right back.
Sports Hub headlines.
Well, now I know where you go.
Wow, doing a sing-along in the first verse.
Yeah, it's a very Vince Neil move. You know what I learned is when I saw Van Halen and walked out after the first song, Unchained.
That's true.
I was confused why David Lee Roth was effing around on stage and jerking off all around stage before the show. Apparently, I saw Alex Van Halen get interviewed on stage, and you can watch it on YouTube, the Alex Van Halen interview. It's pretty good. It's an hour-long one. He didn't do many supporting his new autobiography, but he very fond of Dave, and he talks about how Dave would sweep the stage before the shows out of respect for the stage. So it was part of his thing is that he would come out because he was putting talcum powder and all this stuff all over it or whatever he was rosin or whatever he was putting on it, but he would sweep the stage like in an old
vaudevillian. It's very vaudevillian.
I don't even know if it because I was about to say vaudevillian, but I don't know if it's predates vaudeville, like if it's an old Shakespeare thing or what it is, because I never was in theater. So I'll bring it up to you two, Hardy and Adam, who are both theater kids.
Oh, thespians, yes.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, to my knowledge, as a thespian, I've never heard of sweeping the stage. Really, it's more about putting down marks for blocking on stage. Is always what I was taught. Is you need to have blocking marks.
That's inside baseball, right there.
So the actors can hit their marks. Listen, I just want to say a quick thanks to Hardy for getting us that live Rick Springfield audio that Mike Reese sent along, and that scream you heard is actually Mike Reese. That is Mike Reese at the beginning of the song.
I don't think someone so large could make that kind of sound. All right. Well, the Bruins, before we went to the weekend, there was all this talk about Montgomery not making it to Thanksgiving, and Montgomery's going to be fired. And I make the point of what if they win their next two games? Well, they did. They've shut out two teams in a row. They shut out Philadelphia, who's no good. The Kraken aren't bad, and they shut them off. They did it with both goaltenders. So the first thing I'll say before we get to the interesting thing is, now is Montgomery on the hot seat right now?
Didn't appear that way last night. That looked like, in many ways and many times during that game, a different team last night.
Yeah, the power play looked much different. The energy much better. They got up early. They played good defense.
Not watching the puck.
No, they
moving
looked
around.
great.
I mean, that was a solid 2-0 win last night.
So you really want to like disrupt everything and fire the coach and bring a new guy in right now, and not have any patience with this new team?
There were people ready to get Patrice Bergeron in as head coach last week. Yeah, like,
I saw him out to dinner a few nights ago in Wellesley.
Huh.
I'll tell you, he's striking looking. He's the way he maintains his beard and everything. He's put together. He was holding a child too. I didn't bother him. He was eating.
Did he bother you? Did he come over to you?
I mean, he mouthed the word Fred, and then as I walked by, and I just went and held my two fingers in the air
hey,
to greatness, you and I. But the thing is that Pasternak's been bad this season, and he's turned the puck over a lot. He did so in the first two periods yesterday. And the big news is Montgomery benched him for the entire third period, and he didn't do it because he was hurt. He did it for a coaching decision. The players talked about it after the game. The center, John, for the kid from here, the center. Coyle was talking about how he was still engaged on the bench, how it was a good sign for him. And people, I read some comments under it on Twitter that people were like, it was pretty split. I love that Montgomery did that. I love it.
Well, we were talking about Montgomery having to do something major to get his team's attention. And I like the fact that he didn't do it Saturday, because that would have been a stunt move to get the team's attention. He did it after a shutout the night before, and while his team was ahead 2-0 in the third period with a lead to protect, he did it. That's the most important thing. That tells me that he's in firm control of not only the team but his emotions as well. It'd be real easy going into Saturday's game to say, all right, F all of you guys who aren't playing. Pasta, you're not playing today, or I'm sitting you out because your effort sucks. He didn't do that. He did it when he knew he needed to get his team's attention to win a game after they were already tasted some success. That's a head coach. That's not someone who's reactionary.
Yeah,
that's a guy who's in control.
I don't understand how you could be a fan of this team and think they weren't playing well and then be upset that a guy who's playing well below his level and is part of the reason that they haven't been overly good this year, why he would sit him. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And if you're worried about, like, Montgomery losing the room and that's a reason to fire him, or, something other than tactically, he wouldn't say anything about the Pasternak benching after the game. It's a coach's decision. They asked other players about it. Charlie Coyle said, I don't know, it's just the game, but he goes, Pasternak is on the bench and he wasn't sulking. He was talking.
Yeah.
He was chattering. He is still engaged with it. So if you want to take just that as something in terms of how it was received and how what the room thinks of it, sounds like they're okay with it. So once again, this knee-jerk reaction after 10 games to fire Montgomery because you were at, 4-6-1 at the point, I think, after 11 games. We were talking about it last week.
They're 6-6-1 now.
A little premature.
Yeah, this team's making the playoffs. I'm sick of them being good in the regular season and sucking in the playoffs. Let's judge this team's success on how well they do in the playoffs.
By the way, Swayman looked great.
Yeah, Swayman finally looked on point.
Good.
All right, Christian, I want this Christian call coming out of the next break. I know we're supposed to go around the NFL, but I do want this call from Christian.
Are we also going to do some Judaism calls as well?
Judaism? I don't get it.
You said a Christian call.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. This is more of it involves all faiths. His name is Christian.
Oh.
So he won't swear, that's for sure.
Oh.
And he'll probably keep it fairly non-sexual, but plenty of violence, which is as the very vocal Christians. Violence is okay, but enough with the vulgarities and the sex. All right, we'll be right back with Around the NFL, and Christian did something that I think you might be interested in.
Oh.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, Massachusetts sports fans, feel the rush of football action with BetMGM. We're giving you an odds boost for any pro football.
home of the past. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Patriots were beaten yesterday 20-17 in overtime by the Titans in Tennessee. Drake May was intercepted in OT to end the game after the Titans opened extra time with a field goal, but he also directed a 50-yard drive that culminated with a touchdown pass to Ramondre Stevenson. He was being knocked down with no time left in regulation to deliver that pass to tie it. Gerard Mayo, if nothing else, officially as a quarterback.
He's a guy out there trying to make a play. He's just trying to make a play. And I think sometimes, as well as he has played, sometimes we forget how young he is. And he's going to continue to develop, and he'll be a good quarterback in this league. And look, we'll all learn from this, myself included.
In all, May was 29 of 41 for 206 yards, the 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. He also ran for 95 yards as well. Patriots are now 2-7. They visit 4-4 Chicago on Sunday. The Bears got blown out in Arizona yesterday, 29-9. As for the Bruins, they've now posted back-to-back shutouts. They beat Seattle last night at TD Garden 2-0. They held the Kraken without a shot for over 17 minutes to begin the game. They also got goals from Justin Brazeau and Charlie Coyle in the win. They'll try to make it 3 in a row tomorrow night in Toronto. David Pastrnak did not play in the third period last night after apparently being benched by Jim Montgomery. Celtics will be in Atlanta tonight. Jaylen Brown out again with his hip flexor strain. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at around 7:45 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And Red Sox rookie right fielder Wilyer Abreu is voted an American League Gold Glove Award winner last night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Bentley University, where good business begins and leaders come to learn. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Boom. Yeah. Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Oh, we talked to Mike Reese on the Toucher and Hardy show, and he saw Rick Springfield while he was in Nashville. And he said that was his 6th or 7th time seeing Rick Springfield. Rick Springfield, who has a song. Am I being cute, or does he have 2 songs?
No, he has more songs.
Think of the
All
other.
right, well,
What's the other song?
I can't think.
All right,
I'll
let's
run
go
down
through
the
the set
set
list. Yeah, real quick, go through the set list.
I'll Make You Happy, Affair of the Heart.
Let's not go crazy, because John said he has more. Don't look.
He does have more.
Okay, but he's reading them. Do you know these songs? Let's go.
Affair of the Heart, there's Human Touch, there's Love Somebody, there's...
What's
Don't-
Love?
Don't Talk to Strangers.
Okay, 2 songs. You're right. All right, let's go. I want to know if John, one by one, can do these songs. It doesn't have to be a long exercise,
All
just
right.
yes or no.
All right.
Here we go.
And you just named the last 4 songs of this set.
Okay, so there you go.
I'll Make You Happy,
I don't know
Affair
that
of the Heart.
Yes. All I know is the chorus to that one.
How's it go?
It's an affair of the heart. That's how it goes.
I've Done Everything for You.
Yeah.
That we know.
That's
Done nothing for me. That's a bad song.
That's a Sammy Hagar cover.
Oh, it is?
Oh, that's how I know it. Yep.
Okay.
Little Demon, Automatic, A-U-T-O-matic. World
Prince.
Thank you. World Start Turning, I Get Excited, Venus in Overdrive, State of the Heart, which is a Mondo Rock cover.
Okay.
Lose Myself, Medley, Love Is All Right Tonight, the Voodoo House, Noodle / Wild Thing. So he gets the Trogs involved in there.
And then he just noodles.
Yeah, I think
he
that's
just-
a noodle. That's like just
He gets
playing
up there and he
around.
tunes his guitar.
And then the 4 songs you named, John, to end the set.
What are the 4 songs?
Don't Talk to Strangers, Love Somebody, Human Touch, and Jesse's Girl.
You better love somebody. It's late. You better love somebody. I think that's it. Don't wait. I think
I'm
that's
on the
right.
fence about if I know that song. And then Love Touch?
Human Touch.
Human Touch.
We all need a human touch. We all need it. The human. We all need it. I need it too.
I don't know if I know that song. Christian, though, who I promised is going to deliver. Christian, are you a Rick Springfield fan?
By marriage.
Okay. Now, how have you experienced Rick Springfield? How deep have you gone?
I a Rick Springfield cruise, so Rick and Friends.
Oh, boy.
That was probably 12 years ago. Caribbean cruise. Ironically, his buddy Jack Wagner was on board as well.
Is that true?
So perfect.
Oh yeah. We got to actually we did one of the day trip to swimming with the fishes or whatever, and Wagner was on our little boat, so we get to hang out with him for the day.
Does he? Does you get to pick which woman he wants to nail? Like whose wife he gets that on that boat?
You can have mine.
All right. So
are you still married?
Not as of a month ago.
Okay, so you got divorced. All right. So on the boat, what percentage of the boat is there for Rick Springfield?
That was one of the big bone of contentions. Yeah, having to go to those events.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though, because I am interested. What percentage of the boat is it? The whole boat there for Rick Springfield, or is it just like a section?
Yeah, no, it's funny you should ask because we went with another couple. Only about a third of the boat was actually Springfield. So the price for the Springfield part was 3 times as much. So me and my buddy got a room together, and then we, traded wives. Well, we didn't trade wives, but you know what I'm saying. The girls paid for the full thing, and we did not. And we still got to see about half the concert.
Okay.
Because they were just open.
Describe the average person that has paid for the Springfield cruise. Like what are we talking about here?
We are talking about women that are in their 60s, 70s, and men from San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, so he has like a quirky gay following?
Yeah.
Are they there ironically or because they find him attractive?
Well, I think a little bit of both.
Ah, interesting. That's what you want if you're a performer. Thank you, Christian. If you're a performer like Rick Springfield, if you can get into that, what is that called? Like campy,
kitsch,
like kitschy, campy thing.
Yeah.
Like Cher. Like Cher's no longer desirable to any men, especially after Gene Simmons says you can't follow Gene Simmons. And so I just heard someone else.
But if you can get
Cher.
a group of gay men to like go out and like spend a lot of money on your tickets. Which in a lot of cases, these men are, the dinks, the dual income, no kids.
Yeah.
They got a lot of disposable income, and they'll travel and they'll spend a lot of money.
Big on social media.
That's a good fan base to have.
And I'll tell you this, is that it's the best if you're an aging, someone who is popular for your looks, and that's not going to last forever, because I'll give you them. Cher, Madonna, Rick Springfield, like all famous 99%. Because of their looks. And if you're aging out of that, if you can get that kitschy camp audience and embrace it. Because Madonna's crowds are all like middle-aged women, and I hate to say it, ladies, but we're all middle-aged now. Middle-aged women and gay guys. And if you can tap into a gay audience, that's your young audience, is that gay audience.
It's fantastic. We need to do more of that. And that way we can go on tour.
We have a huge gay audience. You know that.
I know.
It's because we don't patronize the gays by calling them the gays. You know?
Nice going. You just did it twice.
What about the gays? It's interesting. Very interesting. Well, thank you, Christian.
I can't hear
Do you think he
Jesse's-
was being serious about the divorce? That they are now divorced?
It sounded like it. Yeah.
No, that was he was being serious.
I can't hear Jesse's Girl anymore without thinking about the scene from Boogie Nights where they go over there to do the fake Coke deal, and he starts playing Jesse's Girl.
Is that when the kids throwing the stuff
That's when
around?
Alfred Molina's lighting off the firecrackers.
Yeah, it's it's the Wonderland, essentially nod where the whole thing's going on, and he's like Rick Springfield, he's a buddy of mine, and he's watching him with those eyes. Jesse's Girl, ooh, I gotta have her. He's kind of like riffing and doing his own lyrics along with it. It is a tough scene to watch.
I've told you the story of Matt Fierce the day of our big fraternity party. Okay. So you know the scene in Boogie Nights where the guy's lighting off fireworks and there's like
Cosmo.
a young kid like lighting off fireworks and it's like weird.
And then he puts his hand up and goes, "It's Chinese."
That's right.
What are you gonna do?
Fierce goes. So we had this big party, and it's embarrassing to say, but it was called Mind F.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it was this big. It was our big fraternity party.
Mind Freak? Oh, sorry. I just went to Chris Angel there.
Oh yeah, there was magic all over the place, but it was like a big drug party at my fraternity. Let's be honest.
You guys were so cool.
No, but it's not cool at all. It's very embarrassing. I have video of it. I took.
I bet you have a
videos.
T-shirt too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, of course you did.
And so, anyway, Fierce had this friend that went to another school. It was an attractive female called the Devil. And the Devil would bring this box for Fierce. And in the box were things Fierce shouldn't be putting into his body. Fierce puts them into his body. Mind F happens. A day goes by. I don't see Fierce. It's no
You talking
big
about
deal.
like plugs and beads?
No, I'm talking about substances.
Oh.
And so, but let me get to it. So day goes by, don't see Fierce. Now it's Sunday. The party was Friday. It's Sunday night. Here's Fierce. Now no one's worrying about him. He's a grown man. Walk by Fierce's room. He goes, Fred. He's sobbing.
Oh.
What's going on? I've been up for 2 days.
Oh, no.
What happened? The Devil took me to this guy's house.
Oh.
And there was weirdness. There were people that I don't think should have been there.
Oh, no.
And it was described to me as a very boogie night situation. 4 o'clock in the morning. What's going on? Why are these people here? This is all weird. What have you just given me? Not only can I not sleep, but it's inducing nothing but panic. And he was up for like another 12 hours just crying and grinding his teeth.
Let me tell you something. 4 a.m., okay. You know what's bad? 8 a.m., 9 a.m. That's when you have passed the point of no return. And that's when things get really scary and sad.
Especially Orlando in the 90s had a very, very, very strange underground scene happening. It was a very rave-based scene. A lot of people moving from other places that couldn't make it as DJs and going to Orlando. So if you have a lot of wannabe DJs and these wannabe club owners and impresarios, I never got involved in it, but I knew people that did. An ecstasy-based economy, a lot of G, like deliberately taking of G, which is a blackout in a you know how you could drink and get blacked out?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these guys, they were oftentimes big like bodybuilder types. They just fill a cap full of this stuff and take it, and they would just immediately black out. And unfortunately, if you're a woman and you leave a drink uncovered in these situations,
that's terrible.
It's a terrible
That's terrible.
situation.
That's not
No, it's
good.
a terrible situation.
But that's giving me anxiety thinking about it because there were plenty of those nights when I was out there, and if this is in Las Vegas, I knew that if I were making it home by like 5, 6 a.m. and people were you could see the people like going to work as you were going home, then okay,
I did that without drugs. Yeah,
I'm kind of okay. If you stretched it out till like 7, 8 a.m. and even worse, like 9 or 10, and then you encounter people who are well into their day, that's when you feel like a real piece of crap. And those were the days where I'd say, well, I can't leave now. Now I just have to stay wherever I am. I just have to stay on this bar stool. I can't. Now you can't leave. You can't go home, and risk seeing buses. That's bad enough. Like school buses, which is dangerous on many levels. But when you're encountering people who are going to lunch, and you haven't been to bed yet.
Yeah, if you're
here's
here's the thing: if you're at a party or at a member club, like one of these clubs, they don't have them here, but there was these clubs where you could buy memberships that were just open 24 hours a day, and the sun's up and people are arriving.
Oh.
That's going to be an issue.
Oh.
Like if you're at a house party at someone's house and people are arriving as the sun's coming up, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's not.
That's going to be a
it's not
big
good.
problem.
Oh.
Because they're not going home.
No.
They're there to hang out.
Yeah.
That's going to be an issue. All right, listen. Rick Springfield is really responsible for the whole psychedelic ballot issue. I mean, he's a big proponent of it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he wants ketamine for everyone. All right, so we'll be back. We'll go around the NFL as there was a decent slate of games. Not so great, But we'll go around and tell you everything that happened and our opinions, and you can call in if you wish. We'll be right back.
and we let him off the hook.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy.
That's right.
And what happened as we go around the NFL?
Well, let's start with what was going on around the NFL last night. As the Minnesota Vikings were home to take on the Indianapolis Colts. It's not looking good for the home team, down 7-0 at halftime, but that changed.
Darnold swings out to the right. He throws to the end zone, and Addison caught it! Yes! Touchdown! A diving grab by Jordan Addison.
I tell you, that's Sam Darnold fever in Minnesota. That's real.
Why has this been the right fit for Darnold in Minnesota?
He comes in the room. He feels very Midwestern. He sort of feels very loved in Minnesota. The people on the team, the coaches, the neighboring communities. He has just had a really nice, comfortable stay here, and they have embraced him.
As opposed to most people, that Minnesota is very famous for snobbily shutting out. Whenever I think of a real dickish city, I think of Minneapolis, Minnesota, home of the Betty Ford Clinic and like 7,000 halfway houses. Yes, the way they turned on. The biggest industry. I love Minneapolis. I think it's a great city. The biggest industry there is seriously like drug recovery. Like the amount of read The Night of the Gun. Just read The Night of the Gun. It's a guy, the memoir of the guy who goes back. He's a New York Times reporter who was in Minneapolis, and he goes back and investigates his own life and finds all the things that he misremembered, and it's a good study on our memory and all this stuff.
That's a fair point, though, that they're making about Darnold being embraced by Minnesotans, because across the board, upper Midwest, they are stuck-up dicks everywhere, whether it's Wisconsin, Minnesota. Oh, yeah, you get into the Plains states or Nebraska, terrible, awful.
Yeah.
Come on in. That's
now it can be
everyone's reaction. Come on. It's nice here. You'll like it. We like you.
Now, good luck in Lade, because it can be very not so much Minneapolis, but if you go west of Minneapolis, you're getting into territory where people do not move to from other places. Like, I know a guy who moved to, I think, Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. And he moved there when he was in his late 30s, and he was single. Yeah, there's no getting
away. We have friends of ours, married couple that moved to Bozeman. They just decided they wanted to get out and get away. Their nearest neighbor is like 10 miles away.
Yeah, not
There's
easy.
nothing out there.
Yeah.
Except property prices going off the hook.
That would be tough, yeah, because my wife's, she's got a ton of families still in Omaha, but people, they already have their friends. They know who they know. They went to high school with them, and it's
it's like Newton.
Yeah, you coming in here as an outsider? No, you can't come in here.
No, someone told me something. Someone said to him, they go, "Hey, you're a good guy. You're got a good personality. You're outgoing. You'll make friends in about 5 years here."
They're very friendly, but hard to become intimate. No,
I'm talking about Boston. This happened in Boston.
Yeah, here, yeah.
Boston's a different.
Let's go to Arizona, where the Cardinals were
play the Jets next weekend
at home, taking on the Chicago Bears, who the Patriots have next weekend.
Far side and breaking free is DeMercado at the 40. Near side 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown with 4 seconds left in the half. The Bears never expected that. DeMercado on a handoff runs 53 yards for a touchdown.
The Bears never expected that, and after the 9 points they scored in the second quarter, they would never score again. 29-9, the final, Arizona over Chicago.
Arizona's good.
Yeah,
Arizona is good.
They're all right. I'll tell you this. Does everyone still wish that the Patriots drafted Marvin Harrison Jr.? I mean, is everyone very excited about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Do you still think, after watching Drake May, that they made the wrong choice? Everyone that said, "Oh, you got to build around the quarterback first." What's Marvin Harrison Jr. doing?
2 catches, 34 yards.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a decent year. He's not the second coming of Randy Moss yet.
It hasn't changed the offense like they thought it would.
No, they run the ball. Like they're at least yesterday they were run first offense. I just with seeing how Drake May is and that he's the real deal. I mean, how many calls do we take, John, for a year?
Many.
Take Marvin Harrison.
Yep.
Take Marvin
Yep.
Harrison. Take the sure thing. No. He's not the best rookie wide receiver. He's not even the best rookie wide receiver. He might end up being, but it's certainly never going to be a runaway thing.
Not going to be him. It's Neighbors. But when he's healthy, Malik Neighbors is the best.
Neighbors and the other kid from LSU is good too.
Yep.
So Caleb Williams got to figure things out for the Patriots next weekend.
We got to keep growing, keep communicating. For myself, I want to be better. I want to be able to help this team win. I want to be able to help Chicago Bears reach their goals at the end of the season that we all have, that I've had, that I'm going to keep having. And so, I think we all got to do a better job putting ourselves in position.
Don't worry, you'll have a better week next week. It won't be as difficult to task. You'll be
See,
fine.
with the Patriots, they tend to drag down teams with them. I'm not sure he's going to have a good week, but they'll probably win.
They should be able to
13 to 10.
They're going to be able to. They're going to score more than 9 points next week.
By the
Maybe.
way, Adunze might be better than Marvin
9-6,
Harrison Jr.
9-7.
No.
Adunze outperformed Marvin Harrison Jr. yesterday.
Adunze had a very good day. He hasn't been good for most of the
No.
season, but he was good yesterday.
And I'm just saying, and I know it's just a one-game thing, and I'm not that much of an idiot, but I'm just saying, we took an awful lot of phone calls insisting on taking Marvin Harrison instead of Drake May. And even if you're like me and you never really had seen Drake May that much, no, never, ever. Never take the receiver in front of the quarterback, ever.
Quarterback is,
You'll find another receiver, don't worry. They're out there. Every team's got one.
and they come out every single year. There
Yes.
are always good
Yes.
receivers every year.
Except for the Patriots. Like, every team's got a receiver.
In
Tennessee's
theory-
got a receiver.
In theory, you
Wow.
should be able to draft one, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we already talked Lions-Packers a little bit. Dan Campbell's decision to go for it on 4th and 5. They actually drew the encroachment penalty, so it only ended up being about 4th and 2.5. Got the touchdown, but that wasn't ball game. Ball game happened toward the end of the first half. Green Bay has the ball, chance to get on the board. At that point, it was 10-3 Detroit.
Love takes the shotgun snap. Lions bring a late blitz. Love back, looking, being chased. Love throw, picked off the line. Kirby Joseph, left side. He's gonna go, baby. Count it down. 5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions. Wow, how big is that? How big is that?
He's standing up away from the microphone.
Yeah, in a closet. That made it 17-3 Detroit. Oh, the game really wasn't over then. Well, Detroit got the ball to start the second half.
Goff out of the gun. Gibbs to his right. Jerry takes the snap. Hands to Jameer. There he goes. Inside the 10. Inside the 5. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. They just parted the seas and Jameer ran to the daylight. Touchdown, and the Lions extend their lead.
That's that offensive line.
Where
Oh,
are they
my
having
God.
broadcasting from? And you know what it is? They probably shut the
shut the
screen.
window because the weather was crappy.
Because
That's
the
a good
wind-
call.
good
And
call.
so the audio quality sucks.
Yeah.
But listen, the Lions. I heard some guy on national radio going like, and he was pointing to the Seattle game. Their game against Seattle, and he's like, the defense is no good. They're not gonna be able to outscore anyone. Just stop. This is so far and away the best team in the NFL, even without Hutchinson, and they're looking to trade for the other defensive end.
Cleveland. Is it Darius?
From Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah. They're looking to trade for another edge rusher. Whether or not they do, whatever. They can beat you in a numerous amount of ways. There was this whole thing that Goff can't win outside. That was a torrential rainstorm, horrible weather. It affected Love, who's hurt, very hurt. I'm questioning why Love played in the second half of that game.
Zadarius Smith is the guy we're thinking about. It should happen sometime today, according to reports.
Yes.
They're going to trade for this guy.
I don't know why he was playing either, because he would actually move around a little bit in the pocket, but he couldn't run after that. It was everything he could summon to roll left or right, but as soon as he stopped, he would start hobbling on that ankle again.
Yeah, he can't. He couldn't evade the rush, and he just kept getting hit. And credit to the Lions that they kept dialing up blitzes and stuff when he was obvious that he was hurt and he couldn't move. And but it was a beatdown against a team a lot of people picked to win that game. So right now, as it stands after Week 9, the Detroit Lions, I don't think there's any doubt, are the best team in the NFL.
They got the second best record behind the team that plays tonight.
Yeah, they're better than Kansas City. Now, do they beat Kansas City in a Super Bowl situation? Maybe not, because you have Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
That's the problem.
Right.
But if you went by team,
That is a problem.
You have to admit if you go by team.
Yeah.
In the way that they're structured, that they are.
Well, they've also been a lot more convincing in their wins than Kansas City has.
Yeah. I'm just saying, right now, as of week 9, the Lions are the best team in the NFL. Does that mean they'll win the Super Bowl? Obviously not. But I wouldn't want to play them.
That was their first outdoor game of the season. Didn't bother Dan Campbell.
We came out here and played pretty good football out in the elements. We're built for this, man. And just because we play indoors, it doesn't matter. I mean, we can play anywhere. We can play in the snow, we can play in the rain, we can play in the mud. That's just us, and we're built to win.
All right, we were talking about it with Mike Reese, the idea not to go for 2 to win the game yesterday from the Patriots' perspective. And Dan Campbell won 3 games his first year with the Lions. He was widely regarded as an idiot, like a buffoon. And, there was these articles about how he really wasn't. And I thought he was a buffoon, too. He'd go for it on 4th down all the time. He was like, yeehaw, like shooting guns in the air. He'd say he wanted to bite off kneecaps and stuff like that. And everyone had a lot of fun with him. But what he did do was develop a culture around that team. Now, they drafted extremely well, but there's a lot of teams that have drafted well and still not performed, like the Jets. This is a team that established an identity right away. So we asked Mike Reese, and he agreed. Do you go for 2? Is it the right thing to do in terms of the numbers? Is it the right thing to do in terms of, like, winning the game? Who knows? But that attitude, especially after beating the Jets and getting it on a 4th and 1, after beating the Jets, having to drive the field twice, do you make a statement and develop the culture by going, we can pick up 2 yards. You can't stop us. Even if you know what's coming, you can't stop us. And the Colts were doing that a little bit yesterday when they were pulling their guard, that stud guard of theirs, and they were like, you can't beat us. If he comes in there, you can't beat us.
Quentin, he said, hey,
Quentin Nelson.
Quentin, what's up, man?
But Campbell has established, and I'm an idiot. I just thought he was dumb. But Campbell has established a very tough attitude about that team. The idea that they couldn't win in the elements is completely false because they're built to do so.
Well, they keep playing like this, and I can have to be in the elements for the playoffs. So
that's right.
That's a very, very tough division. Very, very tough division. There are.
Well, it's not going to be Minnesota. Sam Darnold, as good as he was, we already went through this game. He threw 3 touchdown passes, but also put the ball on the ground once and got picked off twice.
That team's their defense. Minnesota is so good defensively, and Brian Flores might get another shot at a head coaching job based on the way that defense is playing.
From the NFC North to the AFC East, where the Bills and Dolphins faced off yesterday.
Allen out of the backfield. Davis, room to roam. Oh, he got by Fuller. He broke a tackle in there by Fuller, and he's off to the races. And a 63-yard touchdown catch and run. And the Bills have recaptured the lead.
But not for long, as Tua Tagovailoa in his second game back after coming out of the concussion status.
Tagovailoa, 23 of 26. Armstead the block. The time. He looks, throws, caught. Touchdown, Waddle!
Waddle negative 4 yards receiving.
Yeah. Touchdown, though.
Yeah, 2 catches, negative 4 yards receiving. He caught both his targets.
Tua hasn't necessarily been great.
Yeah, he is.
Something's wrong with him. I don't know why he's not a part of that offense at all.
It's almost as if they need to play him but are protecting him at the same time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just weird stuff. Buffalo 7-2. They are the 2 seed in the AFC at this very moment.
I think everyone wants a Buffalo, Kansas City AFC
Another one,
championship.
yeah. I mean, they haven't done it yet, so now it's time.
Buffalo would kick the game-winning field goal with 5 seconds left, so they moved to 7-2.
61-yard field goal, I believe.
61-yarder for Tyler
Must
Bass.
be nice to have a kicker that can make an effing field goal to win a game.
From 60, how about from 31? I mean, just to make it.
Or an extra point for that matter. Must be nice. Not to, again, my question to NFL teams is this. Your kicker is so responsible for your win-loss record. It can be responsible. Vinatieri is the reason you could make an argument, is one of the main reasons that the Patriots had that beginning of the dynasty. If you have like Oh, I don't know. An a-hole from New York is your kicker. You're not winning these games. You're not winning that game against the Raiders. You're not, and they're like second-class citizens. It's the only, like my son was like, why don't they trade for a kicker? Why don't teams trade for a kicker? I'm like, that's a good point, but they don't. They just have open casting auditions like it's a community theater play.
They don't care.
And they just don't care, but it's the difference between, literally the difference between winning and losing.
I've been saying it for years. No one wants to listen to me. They'll shove me in a locker week after week, year after year, talking about why don't they care about the kickers? Why don't they why is there not a backup kicker on every team? At least somebody who can kick. We've talked about it before. When Patriots kickers have gone down, who's their emergency kicker? Oh, it's Julian Edelman. It's Wes Welker. And then they would ask him, when's the last time you kicked? Oh, once in a high school as a sophomore. But technically, they were the backup plan because at the time the Patriots had a punter who couldn't also place kick. Mm-hmm. They don't care. It's more games come down to the kicker. And if something goes wrong with your kicker, many teams, if not most teams, don't have anything else they can do. We just won't kick. We'll just go for it on every fourth down.
Another reason you could have a backup kicker is if your kicker starts getting the yips, as they often do, and they miss an extra point and then they miss an easy field goal, and then you just go, all right, kid.
How often does that happen, though?
A few times in the first 9 games of the season.
He's still on the team.
You want a little salt? Want a little salt in the wound here?
On the team.
He's going to be a 61-yarder. Snap by Ferguson, hold by Martin, kick by Bass is long enough, and it is good!
He makes it sound so easy. I don't see what the problem is with your guy.
Yeah, Jets could be 63.
Jets refuse to get rid of him. The Jets refuse
to
get rid of him. I know he's on IR, but the fact that he's still drawing a paycheck from that team is amazing to me.
Maybe he could. I don't think they could cut him because he would have said, I'm injured. And then you can't cut a guy that's injured.
All right, to wrap things here, Rex Ryan had some thoughts on Mike McDaniel, if you're wondering what's going on with the Dolphins and what Rex has to think about it.
Their coach, Mike McDaniel, who I know you have developed your new name for.
Oh, Mike McGenius.
Yes.
Yes, not so much. I mean, he's 1-8 against winning teams over the last 2 years. McGenius is a run game guru, right?
Right.
Except when you watch the tape, I'm like, you're doing zip. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, what are you going to fire him? You're going to fire him and bring in who? He's got a disaster on his hands with this quarterback. I mean, they're married to him, and he's the only guy who's ever gotten through to him. I don't fire him under any circumstances this year.
As long as Tua's on the team, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who made Tua.
You saw what the offense looked like last year. I mean, they're not playing well this year. Tua has the concussion problem, but when he's right, you got those receivers out there, that offense is dangerous.
Yes. Are they a Super Bowl team? No. And are they going to make the playoffs this year? No. But listen, who is? Who is from that conference? All right, we'll be back, cover a couple more games. Here is our friend Jonathan with the headlines.
Sports.
I say that because he does.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. What's going on with Kendrick Perkins? Kendrick Perkins, he broadcasts because he never has to come into a studio.
Yeah.
He broadcasts from what looks like an Olive Garden, but it is his dining room. And he is in there. It's a very tastefully done place, but he's a very vocal analyst. He tells it like it is, and he was on the Celtics. What's going on with him?
So a lot of people noticed that he wasn't part of the duck boat parade after the Celtics won the championship this year, and a lot of people were back from the 2008 squad, and there's a lot of people are invited. Hell, Fred, you were on a duck boat when the Bruins won in 2011. So why wasn't Kendrick Perkins there? And there were rumors going around that maybe he was not welcome around the Celtics these days, and apparently. At the time, the U.S. Sun said Perk was asking everyone to get a spot at the Garden to be part of Banner Night a couple of weeks back when they raised the banner. He was shot down, and now Perkins quickly said, no, that's not true. This is completely false. I never had plans on attending Banner Night. I've never reached out to anyone in the Celtics organization about attending Banner Night. Perkins made it clear he's not interested in making peace. Or as he said, carry the hell on. So he also said he wasn't the only 2008 member missing from the duck boat. He said other times or other people weren't there, but he has made a name for himself for either calling Joe Mazzulla a bird brain or saying that Scalabrine doesn't know what he's talking about.
Called Scalabrine a coward. Yeah, I don't take offense to that. I don't take offense to that.
He called him a bird brain. I mean, you could go after ABC, the Disney Corporation, and their advertisers.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, so he's a bird brain proud. You know?
So what do you...
Dang bird.
Wallach, you're tapped into the Celtics.
Yes.
What are their feelings about Kendrick Perkins these days?
I don't understand why he is persona non grata, but he is. I don't get it myself. It's got to be something else. I mean, Joe Mazzulla endured a fair share of criticism when he first got the job. So I don't get it. Scalabrine was the guy who said it, and Perk was over the top angry at Scal, calling him names and stuff. I understand Perkins backtracking and saying, well, you know what? A lot of us guys weren't there. And by the way, it wasn't my moment. You're right. It wasn't. You guys won. But Mazzulla spent a lot of time and energy inviting other players back. You know, how many legends came back and looked at Celtic practice and all that? And Perkins' excuse can be, well, I was busy. But I think if they had extended an invitation, he would have been there. So it's a really weird vibe around this. I don't understand it.
He has a habit of saying things even when they accomplish something, like taken away from the accomplishment. During the playoffs, he said, not one series did they sweep any single team. And then it was quickly pointed out, Indiana.
In the Eastern Conference Finals.
And he said, oh, yeah, but they're supposed to sweep them.
I think that's after all of that. I think that that's after a lot of the stuff. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why Perkins is, crazy about this.
Well, does it all stem from the fact that he didn't like the fact how he left town in the first place? And
traded for Nenad Kristic? Yeah, I'm sure that pissed him off.
Oh, yeah, never quite gotten over that. Yeah. And at the time, it didn't bother me, but it ended up being the biggest reason why they weren't able to win in 2010.
That's true.
I mean, we're relying on what? On Rasheed Wallace down the stretch?
Yeah,
and Shaquille O'Neal, who played all the way through what, March?
I don't think Shaq was on that team. I think that was afterwards.
That was after, you're right. No, but I mean, it made sense probably at the time. He didn't like it, and now he's able to hold it over the head of the team.
Yeah, he sounds like a guy in football that used to be here. He's taking photographs with this 24-year-old
How did we get there?
who's twisting him around her finger and making him do embarrassing.
There's nobody doing that.
I didn't see it happening.
Kendrick Perkins. There's no one doing that.
No, I'm talking about Bill Belichick.
Oh, I know.
Remember the photo he took? If you don't know, you can investigate it yourself. Bill Belichick took a photo.
3 hours and 50 minutes. We made it 3 hours and 50. No.
Remember
2 hours and 50
Howard
minutes.
Stern with the OJ trial? It's going to be a lot like that every day. Bill Belichick in this new development, like a total loser cuck, got in a big stupid fishing uniform while his 24-year-old
5 days ago.
girlfriend posed as a mermaid.
With this
And he had someone take photos of them like a moron to put on Instagram. You would have done it too for a 24-year-old. No, I wouldn't. I've been single for 2 years, and I have put not one photo on Instagram of anybody. But Fred, you don't know any girls. Sure. Right. None. If a girl asked me, A, to put on that costume, I might do it. B, but if they're like, let's go to the beach and take photos, no. 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 It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But he's got a 24-year-old girl. Sure. Okay. Yes, he has one. And that's been done. And once it's been done, this is all nonsense. Nonsense.
I'm not indulging.
Do you send?
I'm not indulging.
Is that going to be the
diversion.
Christmas card that goes to the grandkids?
I'm with you, Hardy.
This feels very self-serving.
Yeah.
It feels like it maybe doesn't relate to the
whole Kendrick
to
Perkins
the subject
thing.
at hand.
Yeah, I don't
and
think
maybe
this does.
What, that your coach who you were so fond of, that drinking the OJ and such, he was playing chess while everyone's playing checkers, has lowered himself into being like a teenage cuck?
Yeah, I don't see how that applies to
We were talking
Kendrick
about the
Perkins
NBA and
situation.
basketball, Fred. See, we weren't even close to that subject.
My bad.
Do you feel better, though, having done that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I swear to God, we were talking about Kendrick Perkins.
Dress like a fisherman, Bill.
Yeah, you and I were. He was.
Bill, dress like a fisherman. Yeah. I'm going to dress like a mermaid. Okay. I'm going to lay in the surf, and you're going to stand there, and they're going to take photos.
But he caught
and
her.
Everyone's going to get it.
You don't understand the photo.
It's going to be so cute.
He landed the mermaid.
You can tell that she's a brilliant philosopher because all the great, brilliant minds, A, love Halloween, and B, love taking social media photos. It is a sign of greatness.
And our competitive cheerleaders, yes.
Yes. It is all a sign of her great intelligence and incredible love of philosophy. But by the way, she wins. She's the winner in all this. I give her all the credit in the world. If you really wanted to snake, what if it all turned out to be a catfish just to get him to do stupid crap, and it was all a game
Now,
these kids
that
were
would
playing?
be funny.
Really
That'd be hilarious.
Long con prank.
Hey, Bill,
That would
think
be
about this,
awesome.
or if you're listening and you know Bill, put this little nugget in his head. What if this is all a big mind F that her and her friends are pulling to see what she can get an old man to do? After that photo, you don't think that this could be like, let's just see what we can do at this, have him do at this point, what he's willing to do? Like, put on like a little Dutch boy costume with a balloon and stand outside with a lollipop and a balloon while I take pictures of you.
Hold on, you have to wear these bib overalls.
Oh, you want to have sex with me? Guess what you have to do? We're going to dress you up. You're going to be the back end of a horse, and I'm just going to whip you. That's what it is. You would do it. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. For her, no. 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 100 times, no. No. And first of all, I'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? No, I don't want to do that. If she said, I desperately want to dress up for Halloween, will you dress as a fisherman? Sure. If I really liked her, sure, absolutely. I'll dress like a fisherman. Let's go to the beach and take photos for social media. I'm not doing it. Why? Well, like, here's for your purposes, my children. I don't want my children seeing it. I don't want them to think their father's a fool. I do it enough every day. But at least I do it in my own voice and not of that.
Anyway,
even Kendra says she doesn't take photos of her boyfriends.
Anyway, Kendrick Perkins was not invited to Banner Night, and he said he didn't want to go anyway.
I know. Oh, yeah? Well, I was out of town anyway. I couldn't make it.
I wonder if he's going to dress up as anything for next Halloween. Because none of these other guys, have sex with anyone attractive. Like, the rich and powerful. I don't see anyone else taking photos on the beach. I see them taking pictures on yachts in, like, Greece. Not on the beach. In costumes. Like a fool. A fool. If I was an owner of a team and I'd go, yeah, Bill, come in. Yeah, we're interested in hiring you as coach next weekend. And I'd have a slideshow of all the Instagram photos he's agreed to. And I'd just sit there and have everyone point and laugh at him. And then go, leave. Leave, old man. You desperate old man. Get out of my sight.
You've been punked just like this girl is punking you.
Just like this is an elaborate catfish. This is all being sold to the tabloids. It's a Russian. It's Putin's behind it. He wants to get the United States to feel weak.
Now we got the Russians involved.
If your friend went up to you, if you're Bill, just say this. Say you're Bill Belichick and I'm your friend, and I went up to you and I said, all right, Bill, this is getting kind of embarrassing. I think she might be effing with you at this point. Just seeing how far she can make you do stuff. That wouldn't bother you at all? Like, there wouldn't be a part of you that went, oh.
I would give more credibility and more thought to the long con potential if you could tell me what the payoff was.
Okay.
Just as a goof?
What if her family, and I have seen evidence that the family's not wild about this. What if she's pissed at the family, so she's like, okay, you don't like that I'm dating Bill? I'm going to look what I can make him do. Look what he'll do for me. You think you own him? Look what he can do for me. I'll make him do all this stuff and you have to eat it. Like, watch him. Look at what we're doing for Halloween. And I'm going to send these out as the Christmas photos. You can't see that happening? You think everyone in that family likes this?
No.
And you don't think she might be pushing it as far as she can to kind of be in their face?
To prove to her family that she's
not to her family, to his family.
Oh, God.
Like, oh, yeah, you think you own him? How about this? You think I'm wrong?
Man, I got to let you go.
All right, we'll be right back with Bob Sosi. I can take a hint.
Wait.
Patriots are now 2-7 after losing in Tennessee 20-17 in overtime to the last place Titans yesterday. Drake May threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Ramondre Stevenson off a broken play with no time left to force OT, but he also threw a bad interception to end the game after Tennessee got a Nick Folk field goal on the first possession of overtime.
First down and see the safety. I think we're thrown into the wind. I got to put some more on it, and just a dumb decision. Something you'd like to have back, and especially in that situation, I can go at least tie it up. We're on like I said, our own 40, and sometimes the best play is throw it away, and it's a bad decision on my part.
Patriots will visit Chicago on Sunday. The Bears fell to 4-4 yesterday, care of an ugly road loss to Arizona, 29-9. The Bruins won again last night, 2-0 over Seattle at TD Garden. Justin Brazeau and Charlie Coyle both scored in the first period. Bruins have now posted back-to-back shutouts. They're in Toronto tomorrow night. David Pastrnak, by the way, didn't play in the third period because of what Jim Montgomery called a coaching decision. The Celtics had last night off. They wrap up their 4-game road trip tonight in Atlanta. Brandy and Max have the pregame at 7 and the tip-off at close to 7:45 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Jaylen Brown out again with a hip flexor strain. Atlanta just played last night and they won in New Orleans, 126-111. And Red Sox right fielder Wilyer Abreu was given an American League Gold Glove last night. He's the first Sox rookie to win that award since Fred Lynn in 1975. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the $14.99 Big Deal Meals at the Nines. 4 new hearty full-size entrees like the roasted turkey dinner available every Monday through Wednesday for just $14.99. You gotta love the Nines. I'm John Wallach of Austin Toll for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an enticing explosion.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Guys got to start stepping up and helping this kid because he's the future. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of good in Drake May here. But good job coming back, fighting back in this game. No quitting this team. This is not a pretty game. And not a pretty game by any stretch for either team.
No.
But you got to find ways to win these type of games. Until you do, I'll be calling them like this. That's fun at the end, but it's not good enough. Bottom line, get this kid some help.
Foundation. Stakes, huh? Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Just search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Bob Sosi is voice of the New England Patriots, joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Bob Sosi's hot takes are powered by Bigelow Tea. If you want to know what keeps Bob voice in peak condition, it's his hot cup of Bigelow tea. Hot takes and hot tea, Bigelow tea. Hello, grab a mug and tea proudly. Bobby Sos, hello, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. Are you still in that? No, you come home with the team, so you were home.
Yeah, we got home at about 11 o'clock. I walked through my door last night, got into Gillette. I take that back, about 10 o'clock. Walked through the door at home. So we got back to Providence around 9:30 or so. So it was, a really, for us, an easy trip in and out.
I heard you guys right before the game talking about how the fallback time change plus being in the central time zone was a bit of a mind F.
Well, that's because on the bus before we left the stadium at Gillette for the airport on Saturday, I think one of our crew members, it might have been Dennis Knutson, tried to convince that we're actually gaining 2 hours by going to Nashville and turning the clock back.
Oh, man, that must have mystified him for hours.
So that led to a lengthy discussion, needless to say.
Oh, you see, now that's something I wish I could have been a part of.
Was that payback for Mexico City, Bob? Is this a long payback for Mexico City?
But I see.
It's going to take a long time to pay back for Mexico City, Fred.
I see how you could pull that one off. But no, it's 2 hours this year. We're actually, for this the first year they're doing 2 hours. What?
It's because of the election. They don't want people voting for Trump. And then you could get him and another one of your crew all wrong.
But then I was just going to say, then you get Capello pissed, and that's a different kind of
Then you got Capello telling you that it's actually happening.
That's a way different kind of
Because Capello
anger.
thinks it's actually happening. You know that Biden's manipulating time, don't you?
It's 2
I thought it was the
hours.
Hurricanes, Fred. I'm sorry.
They changed it to 2 hours,
yeah.
but they're only telling the Democrats.
Oh, you've heard that, how they're manipulating the weather in North Carolina to get the lithium? Yeah, my son has an instructor that put that on social media. He learned it from TikTok, so it's true.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't just go and blow up the place or just force everyone out. You'd have to manipulate the weather to get them out.
Yeah.
Considering they blew it. Are you aware? Oh, forget it. Are you aware of the interstate highway system? You know, people had land on that. They just said, scram. All right, Bob Sosi, Drake May. The more, if I'm a Patriot fan, the more I watch this, the more I'm excited. He made some mistakes yesterday, whatever. But in terms of the way the game is going and the quarterbacks that are performing well right now, I mean, I'm looking at Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I mean, this kid is fast, athletic, big arm, can throw on the move, can extend plays, can pick up yards when he needs to with the ball in his hands. I mean, this kid's got everything.
Yeah, Fred. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, and we've seen a lot of quarterbacks have good rookie years and then drop off considerably. But I think the things you're talking about, I mean, we're talking about his athletic ability and his ceiling athletically. And, you know, he hasn't even really begun to approach it in terms of his long-term potential. So I think there's a lot to be excited about with regards to Drake May. I mean, I think you can say the Patriots have a guy who should be their quarterback for a long time to come, even this early in his career. But a lot of that depends on whether he can get to that point, on who you surround him with and what they do to support him going forward, because certainly he needs the help, as Zoe said, as we heard coming out of that break.
And just if you want an illustration of that, look at Mason Rudolph yesterday trying to evade the rush and trying to get past the line, you know, when he's scrambling. I mean, getting caught from behind by, you know, 300-pound defensive lineman. I mean, there's a big difference. I mean, if you just watch the league and where this league is going and where it's gone, I know that players have flamed out, but, like, Mac Jones never showed like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mac Jones was effective, but it was obvious right away he was never going to – he had no ability to be elite. In terms of physical ability, this kid, Drake May, has the ability to be elite. Will he be? Who knows? Probably not, right? Like elite, probably not. But in terms of physical ability and composure so far,
yeah,
he's showing these two things.
I think the composure, I think the competitiveness. I think the difference, too, is that there are guys who can make throws. You hear that term all the time when guys come out of college. Well, you can make all the throws. But then there are guys who can make throws, but also make plays. And I think Drake May is that guy who can make plays. And what he did yesterday with his legs running, when he did with his legs to throw, to create, extended plays and complete some passes. We saw it even the week before when he had that ball that was dropped by Tyquan Thorne, a perfect illustration of his ability to make that off-platform throw that we heard so much about coming out of North Carolina. But I think especially encouraging to me is just how good his mechanics have been in the process of all of this. So much of the talk about him as well coming out of Carolina is as a developmental quarterback, in a sense. He had to work on his footwork. He had to work on his release, his delivery. And you watch him run. He's under control. He's very fast while being under control. His eyes are downfield in the right place. He's got two hands on the ball. He's able to throw the ball still with his shoulders in position to make the throw downfield. The footwork has been clean. The way he's maneuvered in the pocket has been good. So I think we've seen the blend of that physical upside with also what he needed to work on coming out of college. We've seen the evidence that he's grasping that.
So what's your level of concern, Bob, watching him yesterday when he takes off and starts running out of the pocket, and also a couple of times in the first half yesterday, almost has his helmet taken off at the end of one of those plays, or even when he's back in the pocket, because I was holding my breath every time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially you start to see him run, and then you look for him to slide feet first, which is, of course, how he got hurt, but nonetheless, it's what you would expect if a quarterback tried to protect himself. But instead, he's leading, going in head first. You watch it and try to call a little bit with bated breath, but absolutely, there's concern there. But you don't want to also take away that competitive nature that he has, the willingness and the want to. Sorry for that, cliche, but the ability to make plays and also the desire to make those plays and to put himself out there the way he did. Hopefully, there's better protection for him going forward, and he doesn't have to do those things. That's what you should count on. You should look for maybe 1 or 2 of those runs a game, not a half dozen of them per game.
Okay, Bob, we were talking about the Lions. There's a place I'm going with this. And
sure.
Yesterday they went to Green Bay in the rain. There was talk about how they're an indoor team and Goff can't win in the rain. And we started talking about how Campbell has created like an identity for that team. And he only won 3 games his first year as coach. And I, for one, thought he was a buffoon. A lot of people did. Most people did. But he did develop an attitude. So take us to May makes that terrific play to send the game into overtime. They settle for the extra point. What do you think about going for 2? I know whatever the analytics say, I know it was marginally on the side of kicking the extra point. But you just beat the Jets by grinding out 2 drives and Stevenson on a 4th and 1 at the goal line, or 4th and goal from the 1. What do you think about if you're developing an attitude more than the win? The idea that you went for the 2, that we can pick up 2 yards when we have to. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I think the idea is great under most circumstances, but I think Drake May told us yesterday after the game, and I thought he told us after that play, everything we needed to know why that wasn't the situation to go for 2, in my opinion. And it's something that Zoe and I discussed after the game and didn't consider in the moment, because I just rewatched the entire sequence a little while ago. He's running around for 12 seconds. All of his teammates are in that scramble mode. You don't have any timeouts. So he completes the play while being knocked to the turf. You watch him get up and run to the sideline, and he's really not running. He's jogging. He's bent over. Even after the extra point was made by Joey Slye, to me, it looks like May is still kind of catching his breath as he's congratulating teammates coming off the field. And I think, he told us in his post-game remarks yesterday that physically to ask him to go back out there, and I think to organize the offense in that situation after that kind of a play to get you within 1, I just don't think it made a lot of sense to go for 2 there, because you're probably going to take a delay of game penalty. You're out of timeouts. Now, it's a little bit different if it's a more conventional play where you can hand the ball off, a guy punches it in for the touchdown, and now you're thinking, okay, we're ready to go. Let's go. Let's keep the pressure on them. Also, if you're playing against a better team, I think it's a no doubt about it situation where maybe you try to win the game in regulation because you like your chances. But I think you're playing against a bad team that's more prone to make a mistake on its possession if they get the ball first. And they did. They put the ball on the ground twice on the kickoff return and later on a botched snap, and he still held them to a field goal. And to me, the bottom line is the Patriots at the end of overtime still had fate in their control. They had the ball with a chance to win it. So that's why I didn't think it was that big a deal as it's become, certainly in the post-game analysis. I think there's a lot of people that believe that the Patriots should have gone for 2. But I do think, Fred, to your point, generally speaking, an aggressive mindset, an aggressive attitude has served the Lions well. We laughed at them when they came into Gillette in 2022, I think it was, and went 0 for 6 or something like that on 4th down. And, last year in the NFC Championship game, maybe Dan Campbell would have been better served to exercise a little more of a conservative, old school approach and not pass up field goal attempts to try to go for it on 4th down, and his team might have been in the Super Bowl. But I do like that aggressive mindset as a general rule. I just don't think that was the case yesterday. It was really as applicable as it might be in most circumstances.
I just heard real quick. I just heard Joe after the game, because it deals with this, talking about how maybe the fatigue of the offense and the hit that May took influenced how they handled their drive in overtime, in that it was uncharacteristic the way that they went deep twice. Do you see anything with that?
I don't know about that. What I thought about the first play, and again, rewatching these plays just a few minutes ago, I thought the first play made like the matchup of Henry against Brown, who's listed as a safety but more of a linebacker, Bill, because the entire play, his eyes are on Hunter Henry. So my guess is that, and this is without hearing an explanation, my guess is that he made up his mind at the line of scrimmage, that's where I'm going to go, because you watch the play develop and his eyes are on Hunter Henry, and Pop Douglas is coming open underneath on the other side of the field. What I didn't like about the last play and rewatching is there weren't really a lot of options for him in the short to intermediate range. I think he had a tight end who ran a bit of a spot route to the right, and he sees the booty downfield. I think a good question that was asked in Gerard Mayo's teleconference, just as we were going on the air here, was about the decision to kick in the direction the Patriots kicked in overtime, because we saw the wind in the opening quarter, I think, affected Joey Sly field goal attempt, where the wind knocked that ball down coming out of that end zone, or going toward the end zone to our right. And that's where May threw the ball, and you heard him say after the game that throwing it into the wind was a bad decision. And I think the wind did affect that throw, not that Hooker wouldn't have picked it up otherwise, based on the way he read the play as a safety that May might not have seen initially when he let it go. But I didn't like the last play. In rewatching it, I thought the first play of overtime was really more on May locking in on Henry, and I thought the second play in between was a case where I don't know what they were going to really try to do, because he was under pressure immediately and had to bail to his right, never really with a chance to see how that play was going to develop.
Yeah, just back to the 2-point conversion thoughts, Bob, and you make some good points. The one that I think I most agree with, though, is the only way it works, especially after the way everybody was scrambling around on the touchdown pass, is that you would have needed to have decided to go for 2 several plays beforehand, and everybody knew that was going to be the drill, because they didn't have any time to get anything in there, and at least mentally you're ready to go. Even if you're tired, you knew at that moment that we're going to have to go for 2 immediately afterward. Had they sprung it on him and said, you know what, we're going to go for 2 here after all, then, okay, probably not. It probably wasn't going to succeed either way. And we know the percentages, and we've been talking about it today. But had they decided from the start of that drive, okay, once we score here, we're going for 2, and everybody knows going in, maybe that makes that decision, if not the right one, just an easier one on the team.
Yeah, and I also think, too, Hardy, and maybe this is reading too much into it at the final series, because they didn't stop them on the previous series, but they got the 3 and out when they needed to. The defense got the stop. The Patriots used their timeouts to get the ball back. So they had shown the ability in that case. The Titans had only scored 13 points. In 7 of them were on a short field from 26 yards out after the strip sack. Granted, they also threw an interception at the goal line. And I also think, too, again, the chances are you're playing against a team like that. I think in that situation, you want to get to overtime. And I get it. You're on the road. And again, I think in the normal circumstances, that situation where maybe it's the underdog, so to speak, you've got it in your mind. You want that attitude. You're going to go for 2. I just think the way that play unfolded, it really eliminated that possibility in my mind. Just watching Drake May, again, after that play, moving around as much as he did, taking the hit, just seeing him try to go to the sideline after the play, realistically, to think that they were going to be able to get lined up again and run a successful 2-point try. And like I said, the Titans put the ball on the ground twice thereafter in overtime. The Patriots still had possession, down only 3. They recover one of those fumbles, or they take advantage of that opportunity at the end of overtime. Then we're not talking about the decision to go for the conventional 1-point kick rather than a 2-point try.
Real quick, Bob, it's a good
Please.
thing Drake May did what he did in the last couple of minutes, because it kind of whitewashed another wildly inconsistent game. Offense, defense, special teams. You saw Layden Robinson struggle early. For some reason, Calvin Ridley was able to run free in the secondary, even when being guarded man-to-man by Christian Gonzalez. And you had bad punts by Bryce Behringer, a missed field goal by Nick Folk. I'm not seeing a lot of advancement or improvement as the season goes along. They still make these same mistakes over and over and over again.
And, John, you left out a lack of pressure. And I think it's a big thing, for the Patriots. They're playing against a team that turned the ball over with a negative 16 turnover differential.
Horrible team they played yesterday.
Yeah, a bad football team, and I thought a poorly coached team, a lot of respects in terms of the play calling by Brian Callahan. And he showed that on the goal line situation when the ball was intercepted, where they could have pounded it in with Pollard, from the 3, giving him 3 cracks to run it in. They passed twice on 2nd and 3rd down, and the 3rd down pass got intercepted off a deflection. So I think you're right, and I think a big concern is that their defense is not taking the ball away, even against a bad team like Tennessee. And part of that is they're just not getting pressure, and they're not getting pressure on the quarterback consistently, even erratically for most of the game. We're just not seeing it. So there's a lot of problems for this football team. That's why they're where they are, 2-7.
All right, Bob Socci, great job yesterday. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. The great Bob Socci. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Cap.
is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hi.
Good
Hi.
stuff. I got good stuff.
Hi. We're Toucher and Hardy. You can email us. Just go to 985thesportshub.com to figure that out. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Toucher and Hardy. You can follow me on Instagram, where I so appreciate it. All your kind words. At Fred Toucher, and you can follow Hardy at Hardy985. And if you're wondering where I stand with followers, as you normally are, John.
I am. How far over 24K are you?
59.
Attaboy.
10 more, and then we have a sexual position.
Nice.
Which is 69.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Hello.
I've heard that. We have an email from Sarah from Everett.
I got one from Sarah from Everett, too.
There you go.
Yeah. What's yours say?
I was happy to hear in the first hour that Fred did not leave his dog outside today. My anxiety for Deuce has escalated since I started walking the dog / streets of Newton. Hot or cold weather is bad for an animal, but Newton is riddled with red-tailed hawks. I have enclosed a picture of a red-tail mutilating a pigeon in the commons. Any chance you know this bird, John?
Oh, I thought she was worried for Deuce's safety because the red-tailed hawk. I'm pretty sure Deuce would not be prey for a hawk.
No, but you might as well just throw more things to worry about in life in there. Just, let's worry about the hawks in the vicinity of the house.
Oh, come on. How much does your dog weigh? You have no idea.
715 pounds.
Do you have any idea?
I'm going for a Guinness record. Yes. My dog probably weighs around 35 pounds.
Probably.
Well, he's yearly checkup at the vet where they weigh him. I don't have a scale that he'd stand on. Am I doing something wrong?
What was his last weigh-in?
His last weigh-in was probably 34.3, if I'm guessing.
Why would you have to guess?
That number up.
I have it framed in a safe under a glass protection, and it's been certified by PSA. But I'd have to go look at it. I do apologize. And I have something tattooed, but I'd have to pull my pants down.
Don't back down. Don't back down.
Scott weighs 59.8 pounds as of last night.
And has got a good relationship with all the trash
weight
guys.
Twice a day. Make sure she's maintaining her levels of fitness.
That's weird. That's weird. I'm sorry.
Well, he gets a BMI, too.
That's nice.
Because you can't go by weight always, because she could be growing muscle due to these long walks.
That's true. She got 2 long walks over the weekend because we were gone, and our neighbors were kind enough to stop by and scoop her up as they went for their absurdly long walks with our dog's best friend. But they go over to Blue Hill Reservation or Ponkapock, depending on the time of year, and boy, was she happy about that.
Deuce either gets to the dog park or 2 miles of walking a day. And that 2 miles of walking is dog walking in that he can sniff, because that's dog email. No, that was caring.
Oh, I thought
more than a joke.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the sounder.
No, I was looking for a little recognition. If he's going to bust my balls about leaving the dog outside, which I did not today because it was too cold.
Yeah, 26 degrees is your cutoff, and that's good.
No, I'd say 34.
Give him a pat on the back. He did the right thing. Come on.
I didn't bring it up.
The fall dog sniffing, the fall and the spring are the worst times. They cannot move more than 3 feet before finding something else.
He pees on everything, and he runs out of pee, and he ghost pees.
It's the decaying, it's the decomposition of something.
Yes. Photo shoots.
That really interests the dogs.
Yeah, take your shoes off, miss, and frolic in this dead stuff.
My Sarah from Everett email is...
got one?
I got one, too.
Yes, Fred did it. I've been sitting on the edge of my seat for Toucher to mention Belichick and his lover. And then I watched my cousin Vinny on Saturday. Is she Mona Lisa Vito and he is Vincent Gambini? We know his love for the movie.
She is the winner in all of this, and I will tip my cap to her truly making a fool out of him. So for that, miss, you have my utmost respect, unsarcastically, with everything. You are a victory for women everywhere. You have done what no opposing coach or press person could do. You've degraded the man right in front of all our eyes, and for that I applaud you, and I really do. You are obviously the complete alpha in that relationship, and it will never cease being funny to me, and I will never stop talking about it. I mean, something else is going to happen, but it inevitably will. I mean, she can get him to do anything, and get him. I'm telling you, if you can get him either playing double dutch, the next one, if you're listening to me, please get him to play double dutch or dress like a little sailor with a big lollipop in a balloon. If you can get that, then I'll know that we're on the same page. DM me at Fred Toucher on Instagram, and let's play a game about
rope,
what you can get him to do.
Little sailor suit with an oversized lollipop.
Oh, get him to dress as a cheerleader and like hold you up.
Good.
Like get your school, your college or high school uniform. Like get the male one, and have him like he might not be able to physically do it, but like have him stand on a ladder or something. Like you stand on a ladder and like him pretending to be hold you. The big deal is that he puts and give him pom poms too.
Could you have him do like some X's and O's with bathtub markers while he's sitting in the tub?
Oh,
maybe he's got a little swirl of shampoo on top of his head.
Yeah, like
good.
Like he's dialing up the perfect day.
I want him in the bathtub.
Can you get a mouse trap and just put it on his genitals and have him take a picture? He says, "I've been a wad boy."
What's your Sarah from Everett email?
Is Hardy a fan of Jack Wagner? He's a legit scratch golfer. Is he's a legit scratch golfer? Question mark. And he's an ex-lover of Locklear. Sarah from Everett. Hi, Fred.
Huh.
That's Sarah from Everett. If he indeed slept with Heather Locklear, she has run the gamut. She married Tommy Lee, a young Tommy Lee too.
Was she with Sambora or not?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had a child, I believe, together. I am watching that Bon Jovi documentary for your edification, which covers John's voice struggles in the 2022 tour, but it goes back to the history of Bon Jovi.
Okay.
And it's strangely not interesting, as they were probably the least interesting of all the bands. He's a huge Patriot fan, though. He's always got Patriot gear on now, constantly. So that's where all the crafts money's going.
Hardy, I really liked your Linger segment last week. I'm right there with you. I was wondering if you, like me, load the conveyor belt at the grocery checkout and group similar foods together to make it easier for the bagger to pack them together. I do enjoy, and hardly ever use the conveyor belt anymore. A, because I hate the supermarket, and B, I'll self-checkout. But if there are enough items, I really enjoy loading the conveyor belt, not only grouping items together, but Tetrising them together.
Oh, how do you organize them? Because I know the correct answer.
Well, you don't want to put the bread before the eggs. I mean, that's day one stuff.
There's something more important that you can do to make their lives easier.
Oh, pray tell. I would say refrigerated meats go together. I would say
frozen foods go together.
Yeah.
Refrigerated meats go together. You can really make their lives a lot easier.
Sure.
What's name two checkout people at the grocery store you go to?
I told you I hardly ever do it. I can't do it.
What if I told you I could? Name one. Nick.
What market?
He's at the Chestnut Hill Wegmans.
Oh.
I was just there a couple of weeks
He's a
ago.
friend of my son, so it's kind of unfair. But I do know his name. Huh. Who's the everyman now, Hardy?
It's you. You win that one. Bill,
Thank you.
But Bill also asked me what T-shirt size I am because he has an electrical company. And Daddy's going to get an electrical contractor T-shirt.
Nice.
If you don't know a man's size and they're of average, just average size, I would go just extra large.
Yeah,
because
XL.
XL always, because you can't lose with XL. Like XXL is offensive. Like large, medium, small might be too big. Like if a guy's like short, then get him a large. Anyone normal, not normal in
In
quotations.
general,
ladies and
T-shirts
gentlemen.
now are smaller, and I know this because I wear a lot of the T-shirts that I got. Like you bust my chops about them all the time. But like XL T-shirts from like 25 years ago are huge.
Yeah.
XL T-shirts from today are
Yes.
like large were 25 years ago.
Yeah, of course my email's gone down, so I'll be of no use to anyone.
I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, but my friend Mike Donaghy asked me last week what size I am. I'm hoping that means he might be sending me something from the Boston Street Lighting Division. Mike does a great job. What they do. What are you laughing at? You see something funny? What are you reading, Ziggy? What are you laughing at?
Oh, I'm totally engaged. I'm laughing
Okay.
at you wanting shirts from the Boston Lighting Division.
Street Lighting Division. The street lights. You think they take care of themselves?
I just like that they have merch.
Donaghy and his guys, they got. Of course, everybody has their own merch.
Right.
Every department has their own merch.
If I go to bostonstreetlighting.com,
You can't buy it. It has to be
the Streetlight Manifesto.
It has to be gifted to you.
Well, as someone who has a lot of stuff from the Newton and Dorchester fire departments, oh yeah. When we were in
Where is
Dorchester, the local fire station, we're huge fans. My kids still wear that stuff, and of course, I have a relationship with many Newton fire department people.
Really? What are some of their names?
Bobby O'Toole. I mean, like I do, John. I live in the neighborhood. I mean, like I'm not faking that.
I know Bobby.
All right.
How long has he been over at that house?
His whole life. He grew up in Newton. There you go. I mean, I have kids at schools. I mean,
Was that ladder
that was a bad flex to get me to name.
Is that ladder
someone
12?
that I don't know, but I can't. I just like Jen's like, no, name him. Like it's the same thing as the stock kid. Like my kids go to school in Newton, or they did. My daughter just does. All right, my son's about to go to school in Groton.
That's very close by.
No, it's not.
We're right around the corner.
No, it's not. Not at all. All right, we'll be back with our award-winning stack segment.
Sports Hub. What could I possibly have missed from the show?
Earlier about how much we enjoy the Bob Sosey and Scott Zolak call the games, especially yesterday when you had somebody I'd literally never heard of on play-by-play. And if you were listening to Bob and Zoe call the game yesterday, you heard this nugget.
Dietrich Wise gets into it with one of the Tennessee players.
There's 15.
And the Titans lineman shoves Wise to the turf right in front of the referee, Alex Kebb.
Holding defense number 24. So 5-yard
you stink.
Automatic first down.
You stink. So it happens in front of you, and he pushes a guy over, and you don't even call it, Kemp. I'm with Jim Murray on these. These guys should be waterboarded.
Penalty.
Oh, my God.
I missed that too. The refs need to be waterboarded. Did I get that right?
Apparently, that's a Jim Murray line. So,
now, do you remember the play?
Yes.
Okay, Dietrich Wise standing in front of the guy.
Yes.
The guy tapped him. Wise took 2 big steps backward and fell over. That one?
All I know is if I said that, I think I'd be in hot water.
Not good? No? Well, whatever. Out there, we can't take it back.
It was a pretty big flop by
anyway.
Dietrich. Yeah, okay.
Not as bad. Look, as bad as that call was, did you see Branch get ejected from the Lions-Packers game?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Which is fine. All right, you eject him. I don't know if I agree with that call. You then get an unsportsmanlike after you're ejected. How do you get an unsportsmanlike when you are no longer a sportsman? At that point, you're a spectator.
It's weird.
So you can. I don't understand how that call can be made after you're ejected.
Well,
they tacked on another 15 after they ejected him.
The officials are getting real fun with that stuff. There was a Bills game on a Sunday night that turned into like a ridiculous confetti session of yellow confetti, and they flagged a Jets defensive lineman who walked by. They replayed it. He walked by the official and like didn't even look at him, and like might have murmured something under his breath, and they flagged him 15 yards for like saying something like under his breath, like while walking by. And even the announcers were like, I've never seen a player like you're allowed to talk, like you're allowed to say stuff.
Yes.
Like you're not allowed to touch him, obviously, or like be like super demonstrative and like hold up things. But I mean, how many mic'd up stuff? I mean, Jesus, like coaches are constantly barking at the officials. Did you see that University of Louisiana Monroe offensive line coach go after the player?
No.
Oh yeah, he's a big maniac with his big high pressure job as the offensive line coach at University of Louisiana Monroe. And so like this lineman like goes on the field by accident and then he runs off. The guy's like on the field like throwing his headset. He's the offensive line coach. Like, all right, stop with your importance first of all. The kid's like 6 foot 190, like offensive lineman, and he runs off. And then the coach runs up to him and starts barking at him and pushing him, and then the kid comes back at him. And I don't know if the kid's like being aggressive or if he's trying to explain himself, but he does come back at him, and it's just such a lack of complete self-control that you can't. Like you're a maniac. Like there's no other like place where you could behave like that, and you're under zero pressure. Like you have to take a real 10,000-foot view of your job and realize that you're in a very small circle of people that care about the outcome of this thing.
Yeah.
Like there's the people in the stadium and like 5 alumni. Like let's be honest. Like it's like putting on a church recital and like being like super nervous about it. At the end of the day, the only people that are experiencing this are in this room. Like, this isn't going to go viral.
No.
Which lends me to the movie I saw with my daughter over the weekend as we attend lots of movies. Mm-hmm. The best Christmas pageant ever. Let me take you inside. It stars Pete Holmes, the comedian. And
that's the name of the movie, Best Christmas Pageant Ever?
Yes.
Oh.
And so it's Christmas, so Zoe and I go. And the movie starts off without not the movie, but Pete Holmes, the woman that stars in it, and the director, and they're talking to the screen. As this, I've learned, is a sneak preview. and there's going to be a half an hour of stuff, including Blake Shelton singing a Halloween carol. And I start realizing this is a religious situation.
Oh.
And the guy goes, you might know my show like The King or something like that. And he goes, you might know me from that. So here's 3 minutes of season 6 before it's not going to even be released until next year. Here's 3 minutes of season 6. And it's Christ and the disciples sitting around this big table talking about religious stuff. And I'm like, oh boy, we're in for it. This is very secular. Like the girl from the Gossip Girls is in Gossip Girls in this movie. Okay. Like it's Lionsgate. Like it's not like I'm like, man, I had a Kirk Cameron thing. Like what's going on? But I'll tell you what. By the end, the last scene, a tear, like not rolling down the face, but I did get misty.
Wow.
At the end.
Okay. All right.
And it's not like overly religious.
Speaking of things that make you misty, you insisted that we get to this 12. Do you have it ready there? Because
I did come in with a lot of demands.
The passing of a music legend. And
Adam,
and Fred's like, we got to talk about this. Quincy Jones has died at the age of 91.
Yeah, Adam came in and he's like, hey guys, like, just so you know, Quincy Jones has died. And we're like, yes, we're aware. Like, we have access to the internet too.
I had just finished crying, so I would like a little bit of sensitivity, please. And I'd also like you to answer, Fred, which hip-hop song samples...
Passing You By Far Side.
Very well done. You are just...
That was pretty easy.
You're an ass man.
And he also produced this song. Along with Michael Jackson's Thriller, Bad, Off the Wall, he produced Ass Man.
He also did Mental Health by Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
And accepts Balls to the Walls. He was the first video he ever directed.
Did he produce that Feel These Dreams album?
No. That was Brendan O'Brien and Bruce Springsteen.
And we'll never forget his work with 311.
Quincy Jones? No, he just taught Essay how to rap. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone, please enjoy your days, would you? It's gonna be cold, not warm enough in the morning to keep your dog outside, but maybe as it warms up.
You go home and throw that dog outside until supper time.
I don't throw him anywhere. I don't throw him anywhere. He goes everywhere on his own accord. He's got 4 legs, and I'd keep him if he had 1.
Oh, look at that. Doggy door for Christmas. That's what we're getting.
I'm not getting a doggy door in that house.
No, you are getting one, and we're all going to chip in and buy you one.
Little people will sneak in. There's a lot of little people in the neighborhood, and they're a very criminal element. They're a gang. They're affiliated with that M15 mob or whatever.
Careful, because they gossip. I learned that from Wolf of Wall Street. They gossip.
Well, I don't refer to them as they. I apologize to the little people community.
It's a proper pronoun in this.
And I know that you cause problems in Newton Center, so by sneaking in through doggy doors. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Gear up at